And good morning, everyone. Welcome into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. Coming to you live from Dave Venable Studios in downtown Hawkinsville. Bruce, Eddie, Chuck, and Ken in the house this morning. Eddie, you were on the road watching the game. I think Chuck was. We were off last night, so I took me a nap in my recliner.
Well, you missed some good football last night, Bruce. I should have took you with me. That way you could have stood up there and watched everything unfold. It was one of those. I told you, man, stars aligned. When we walked in, I said it's going to be a tough one. I just hope we hang close. And we had a pick, scoop and score. We had a tip and six. Had a fight at the end of the game. I mean, what more could you ask for Friday night? And a win on top of that.
It sounds like
at least you got a win.
It sounds like an old Boston and a Detroit Piston game.
Yeah.
Anybody in Detroit Piston?
Oh, my
Lord. It sounded like one of them games, as high school kids, you play in a muddy field somewhere where nobody's watching and somebody doesn't like anything. It was just one of those games. It was awesome. I told Chuck, I shook his hand and said, you're welcome. We kind of helped him out over there.
And, of course, I got motivated this morning. I was watching some old 87 Boston, Detroit games, Lambeer and Bird and Parrish and Company going at it.
You got to tell Chuck about our arrangement coming up.
We go to the phone line. On the line with this morning, Montgomery County head coach Don Vandergriff. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good, Coach. Glad to have you with us this morning. We'll get things started, Coach. With we want to get a little bit of background on you, where you went to high school, if you played sports, where you went to college, and your coaching career, and what brought you to Montgomery County.
Yeah. So I grew up in a little town called Sebring, Florida. A little town, and was able to go to college up in Kentucky, a little small NAIA school called Union College, where I was a defensive line, all-conference defensive lineman. Got to have a great career in college coaching. I was at Eastern Kentucky University with the late Roy Kidd, who just passed a couple weeks ago. He's a legend up there. He played Georgia Southern in some tight battles back in the 90s. Was able to get on his staff for a couple years, and then went on and did some Division II, Division III coaching as a defensive coordinator when I was young. Thought I knew everything, but as y'all know, that you don't that doesn't always happen, right? So I ended up making my way back down to Florida. Coached with at a school called Lake Gibson High School. We went to back-to-back state championships with a quarterback named Matt Grothy, who kind of put South Florida on the map. So then after that, I had a guy that told me that if I want to coach high school football, then I need to come to Georgia. So that's what I did. I was able to get in touch with Coach Roger Holmes over there at Dublin High School. And in 2005, we were able to came over there as a defense coordinator, and we pitched 9 shutouts that year. That was a pretty good year. I ended up getting stubbed our toe a little bit in 05, and then came back and won the state championship in 06. And had a great career there, great run, great family and friends over there in Dublin, and was able to get on with Coach Leroy Riles, who was the running backs coach at South Florida. So I've known him for a while, and he put me on his staff down in Thomasville. And then we went on to do some good things, and went to Athens, Georgia with him. And his family is originally from Montgomery County. My daughter married into Montgomery County, so they told me that if I wanted to take on this challenge, that they'd be more than willing to have me. So that's how we ended up here in Mount Vernon. We couldn't be more excited about this opportunity.
Well, Coach, it sounds like you picked up a lot of knowledge along the way. Listen, as far as not knowing everything, my wife reminds me of that every single day.
Yes, sir.
And, Coach, we've got a little bit of connection with Montgomery County as well. Our new head coach here in Hawkinsville, Coach Tim Suttles, is from Montgomery County, done some good things there for a while, and we were lucky enough to get him this year, and he has made paid dividends right off the bat.
Yeah, Coach Suttles laid a tremendous foundation here. He'd been here for 16 years, done a great job, really excelled as a track coach. got the track team going in the right direction. So we were, I was obviously happy to take over for him.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your coaching staff this year. That's the new thing. I mean, the big thing when you go into a new school as a new head coach, and especially in small communities, sometimes you don't get to bring the staff you want. Sometimes it's the one that's there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, everybody left when Coach Suttles left, so the cupboards were empty. So we were able to. It was tough trying to get some guys to move in here. I took the job in April of last year. So our first official day with kids last year was June 6th. So we were a little bit behind the 8 ball. But we ended up getting a couple of guys this year. Justin Shepard, he's a defensive coordinator, and Colt Brantley, who is actually just graduated. All these guys are in their mid-20s. Wow. So they don't. We're teaching coaches and players at the time right now. So and then we got our special teams coordinator Jake Hall, who played at Schley County, and we're excited to have those guys. They work hard. They do a tremendous job, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your team and your different players, and a little bit about your offense and defense.
Yeah, offensively, we're struggling a little bit. We had a freshman quarterback, Joseph Owens, who does a great job. He's going to be a great talent. We just got to get some linemen to get in behind him, and then our leaders on offense are wide receiver Marquise Martin, Jamon Coughlin's our running back. He's all of 5'6", 145, but now he's a pistol now. He can go a little bit, and then we got to anchor in the fullback position is Darius Wells, who's also our all-state linebacker. He had 23 tackles the other night against Trutland. I mean, he's just tremendous athlete. He's going to have a future at the college level. There's no doubt. And Tristan Bell also coming off a little bit of a knee injury. He's trying to get his way back, but he's also one of our top prospects. He plays wide receiver and running back, defensive back. I mean, he's a man of all trades. So we're excited to have those young men. They do a great job every day, come to work every day. No matter the outcome, they just keep strapping it up.
Coach, another important factor is some kind of feeder program. Any information on the recreation department or anything like that kind of helps lay that foundation? Yeah, we got Kendall Brenneman does a great job with our rec. We have 2 10U teams, 1 8U team. So we are a small community, but we do start at the rec level, and then our middle school numbers are just outstanding. Our middle school coach, Coach Shane Taylor, does an amazing job. He has over 60 participants out there. We're going to get 20 ninth graders next year. For a single A is, tremendous. So, as us being young this year, only graduating 6 seniors, now, we're going to get into the point where we have about 12, 15 in each class. So, it's a building process. Our record doesn't show it too well. But our kids keep playing hard and trusting the process. Coach, you mentioned the future and what you got, the foundation laid and stuff like that. Let's talk a little bit about your region that you guys play in, and what you know about some of the teams. Well,
I want to tell you, I think we might end up being in the toughest region in 2A. In Division 2 Single A, because ECI is in our region. They beat Dublin. I believe the only losses they have is like Swainsboro, who's going to be in the state championship probably again. Jenkins is in our region. Well, I think they're 5-0. And then you got MCA, McIntosh, who everybody thinks that McIntosh is down. Well, they don't have anybody to play down there, so they have to go to Glenn Academy, Bradwell Institute. They're not playing Class A ball. They're playing 4A, 5A, 6A ball. So when they get the region, they're ready to go. And then, I want to tell you, Jason Keecham over there at Portal has done an amazing job. I went and scouted them last night. They've got players everywhere. So don't be surprised if you see Portal making a run in these dang playoffs, because they're very talented at the skill positions for sure.
We're talking with Coach Don Vandergriff of Montgomery County. Coach, it's great to have you on, and we look forward to talking to you many more times in the years to come, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Well, we appreciate you having us, and go Eagles.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to take a break. You're listening to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish, or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Solo Food Mart is a great place for snacks, cold drinks, and great Hunt Brothers pizza. Then there's gas with easy in and out on the corner of Dooley and Commerce Streets across from the post office. Solo Food Mart, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2584. Solo, your stop for Hunt Brothers Pizza, cold drinks, snacks, lottery, and friendly staff.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Let's play Who Wants to Volunteer in Your Community with Ella in Santa Monica, California.
Hey, wait, I don't want to volunteer.
Volunteering can really be fun. In fact, we've asked your entire algebra class here to tell you more.
But we were thinking that you should start tutoring people because you're all like smart and stuff.
I should?
You free tonight?
Sure.
To find out ways you can volunteer in your community, log on to teensvolunteer.org. Do what you like to do. Volunteer. A public service message brought to you by the USA Freedom Corps, the U.S. Department of Justice, the Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back here to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show as we continue on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Man, it's football weather out there.
It absolutely is. And it's getting, everything is just lining up now, just perfect. It's going to be
It's a beautiful day except for Chuck's hat and his shirt y'all are wearing.
Come on now. You were in that silly.
He's a hater. I mean, geez. If I was an Auburn fan, I'd probably be a hater too.
Hey,
yeah, I know, right?
We got a better record than Alabama, so I mean.
Hey, look at that really, really nasty shade of red he's wearing on that shirt there.
Yeah. That looks.
Well, all orange is just a bad shade of red. I've always said that.
He's secretly a UT fan.
Even blue's a terrible shade of red, some way, shape, or form.
Lord have mercy.
We digress.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Every time we mention Auburn, we digress. Ain't no doubt about that.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's one of the games we're going to talk about with John this afternoon. Later this morning. I can't wait to talk to him. I think Auburn's going to surprise people this year.
We can only hope.
I have said early in the summer that I think Auburn, when they hired him, I think Auburn's going to win the Iron Bowl this year.
Well,
mark my words.
Back to the phone lines we go. On line with us now this morning, Coach Pat Collins of Troutland. Coach, good morning. Glad to have you with us again.
Thanks for inviting me.
Anytime, Coach. It's been a while since we had a chance to get caught up with you. Glad to have you with us. You come back in there. You're over at Troutland now.
Yes, sir. They gave me an opportunity to continue coaching after retiring from teaching, and coaching's my hobby, and I enjoy doing it, and I'm thankful for the opportunity.
Coach, anytime you can go in and coach and not have to be in a classroom is great. I tell you, it'd be nice to be able to eliminate that extra part over there if you could just coach full time. It's great.
Well, retirement is a milestone, and I highly recommend people getting to it.
Well, my wife says I've been retired forever. It looks like, but she's wrong. I work my tail off every day. Coach, let's talk a little about your team over there at Trutland, and a little bit about what brought you, like you said, your retirement. But let's talk a little bit about your background for those that don't know. Of course, that's one thing we know is a little bit about you, and of course, your time under Coach Robert Davis.
Well, this is year 34 in coaching right now, and this was my 20th year as a head coach. And along the way, I was very fortunate to be trained by really what I consider 5 great mentors. Charles Webb was my initial coach. He gave me a job at Statesboro High School in 1990. Then I worked with Mark Stroud, he's won over 250 games. He's the head coach now at Calvary Baptist in Savannah. And then Sam Bars gave me an opportunity to be a coordinator at Dublin. We played for the state championship. Sam's a great coach, great friend. But the big two were Robert Davis and Luther Welsh. Those guys they're Hall of Fame coaches, and just the opportunity to learn from those guys and work with those was just super.
Coach, let's talk about your team and the program there at Trutland, and about some of the kids you got and the foundation you're trying to lay.
Well, Trutland had been down for a little bit, and quite frankly had a multi-game losing streak coming in, and we knew that. And the boys that we have there on the team, they seem to have a good attitude, have good athleticism. They just needed, a fresh start, a different start, and that happens sometimes in coaching. No disrespect to the previous coach who was there at all, but sometimes you just need a new voice, and the guys have really bought in, and I've seen a tremendous amount of growth in our team, not just as football players, but in how they play the game and their respect for each other and their closeness as a team. And it was real neat Thursday evening. We had to play a Thursday night game earlier this week, but with Montgomery County because of the official shortage in the area. And it just all came together, and our team was very successful. And at the end of the game, I was really proud of our seniors, because the things that we've been pouring into them were the things that our seniors mentioned as we talked as a team at the end of the game in the locker room, about playing for each other, about being selfless, about working hard together. So, we were able to break the losing streak against our rival. That was a great night. So we got to go right back to work, because we've got a very good Wilcox County team coming to town this week.
Coach, your team, how many seniors do you have this year?
Oh, gosh, it's 9 or 10, I believe. I would have to go back and count, but I think it's 9 or 10.
And Coach, you mentioned Wilcox County, a pretty tough region, top to bottom, that we play in.
Well, I think so. It's certainly been tough for our school, because we've been beat up on a little bit by the region, but they're good coaches in the region. They're good players, and when you have that combination, you have good competition, and hopefully we can add to that mixture of good competition this year.
We're talking with Coach Pat Collins of Trutland. Well, Coach, listen, it's always a pleasure to get caught up with you. We hope that you'll take a call again in a few weeks, and good luck to you guys, and we hope to be talking to you soon.
Well, thank you for having me on, and I would like to say I really appreciate what you do on this show. 20 years ago when I was coaching at Portal, and I think we were getting ready to come to Hawkinsville to play a game, you called me, and I told you then what a difference it makes, your show makes, for young people in the area that listen to your show, to fans of football, and it's things like that give Georgia a little bit of edge on the other states, I think, in high school football.
Well, Coach, listen, I really do appreciate that. Again, thanks for always taking our call, and we look forward to talking to you a whole lot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Coach Pat Collins. Of course, when he was at Portal, he brought a darn good team over here. They had won 10 ball games that year. Unfortunately for them, number 12 was against us, and we were pretty darn good back then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had what people were calling a college football team out there playing.
Yes.
He handled it.
Yeah.
But, we were looking at region, and Bruce, we're talking to a lot of coaches haven't started region play. Everybody's starting off fresh again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's the great thing about this. You go into the year, everybody's 0-0. Play non-region schedule. You get through it. You try to. You want to feel like you're better, and then you hit region play, and everybody's 0-0 again. And that's the great thing about high school football. We have those different points. We're in that midsection where it really matters. We were talking about some 6A schools earlier. So
back to the phone line we go. Line now with us this morning, Coach Rick Hurst of Pepperell. Good morning, Coach.
Morning. How are you?
Good, Coach. Glad to have you with us this morning. Last night, you guys played Chattooga. Tell us a little bit about the ball game.
Well, we come out with a victory, 45-17. Played really well at times. I think we made a lot of mistakes. Probably left some points on the field, and also gave up a couple of big plays that in the first half that we really shouldn't have. But you can't argue with a win, and especially when it's first region win.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your team and the effort they gave last night, and what makes that offense roll.
Well, our sophomore quarterback, Sam Ross, is off to a very good start. In the first 5 games, he didn't get to play in the first game. He was injured, but in the last 4 games, you can see the maturation he's had over the years or over the time that he's been the starter. And, he really is the catalyst for our offense. Him and another sophomore, our starting running back, Tyler Rogers, who is the brother of DJ Rogers, who had a stellar career here last 4 years. But Tyler's just a sophomore and has made, I think he's averaging over 125, 130 yards a game so far. So he's a spark plug. Both of them give us a couple options back there, but also Sam being able to throw the football, something we haven't been able to do really well over the last 2 or 3 years here. He's really given us a chance to move the ball through the air as well.
Coach, let's talk a bit about your region. You guys have some good teams in that region. Let's talk a little bit about it and the expectations with the different teams in this region.
Well, I think Tryon has to be the favorite. They have the most returners coming back from last year. Solid football team, as well as Darlington, who was the runner-up last year. Good football team as well. Last night, kind of the scores kind of indicated just about how level this region is. I think they kind of gave Darlington all they wanted last night, and then even our next opponent, come out with a big win over GISA High School last night. So, it's going to be tough. It is a rough schedule from here on out, and everybody is. I think after trying, I think everybody's kind of fighting for second and third and fourth, and it's just going to be a battle all the way each week to see who comes in those spots. But Tryon definitely is the favorite. I would pick them 100 times out of 100 if I had to vote, just because of their returning starters and what they have coming back.
Coach, you have the week off next week for Armucci. Tell us a bit about how you guys will approach next week.
Well, we've got some injuries. We've had 2 of our starting defensive linemen out for the majority of the season already, so we're hopeful to get both of them back. We had a couple banged up last night, a couple of ankles that we'll, probably let them rest next week. Next week, we're just going to work on it ourselves, some things that we've got to do better. Tackling is one. We didn't really tackle well last night. And, making better decisions. We got to cut out some of the crazy penalties and things like that. We'll focus on our Armucci starting next week, but for this upcoming week, we're really just going to work on ourselves and try to get healthy, maybe practice in 3 days and giving the guys off a couple of days so that they can rest and get back healthy and start next Monday.
We're talking to Coach Rick Hurst of Pepperell, winners last night with Chattooga, 45-17. Coach, always a pleasure to have you on with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
Anytime, Coach.
Go Dragons.
You know, not many folks get to say "Go Dragons." That is really cool.
That's kind of cool, ain't
it? It is.
Kind of like syrup makers.
Syrup makers, or the Adams Smashers.
Yeah, I love syrup.
I still don't know how to pronounce the Ace Academy's mascot. What is that? You know, Eddie?
It's a gargoyle hybrid, I guess. I don't know.
Like that,
and I can't even say that correctly. I can say this: the Steakhouse Restaurant, head on out for a great lunch at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. We'll be back after these commercials. You listen to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show right here on the XL Sports Network.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
One night in Austin, Texas, Christy Lanahan took a walk downtown. She listened to a band. She had a bite to eat. And while walking back to her car, she was killed by a drunk driver. Next time your friend insists on driving drunk, do whatever it takes to stop him. Because if he kills innocent people, how will you live with yourself? Friends don't let friends drive drunk. An appeal to intervene from the Ad Council, the Department of Transportation, and this station.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. As we continue, remind you every Sunday's like Thanksgiving at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. Turkey and dressing, cranberry sauce, the gravy, fried chicken, carved roast beef, array of vegetables, salad bar, desserts, all at the Steakhouse. Take mom and the family on out. They'll treat you better than family.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to be careful though. When you walk away, you might not be feeling so good. You will need a nap.
Well, as much as I love to go in there and sit down, I know if I go in and sit down, I'm going to eat twice as much. So lots of times we'll just grab a box to go. That way it kind of limits my intake. And God knows I need to limit my intake. Chuck, got a few scores there for us?
I do. So we got some Thursday night scores. We'll get those first. Arabia Mountain victors over Locust Grove 41-16. It was Denmark 24, Takula 17 in overtime. Good game. Kendrick, low scoring game, 12-8 over Central Macon. LaGrange put on Whitewater 35-0. North Columbus 34, Westover 20. Brookwood went on the road to South Forsyth and won 42-35. Northeast keeps rolling, Bruce, 48-6 over Southwest.
Northeast, great program out there, Coach Wiggins, and they do a fantastic job. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, it's not a bad coach on the other side there, too, Joe Dupree. He was a great player. I know I played against him. And a good man. 34-0 Drew over Stone Mountain. Last night's scores, we got Manchester over Alexander, 35-0. Rome and Altoona, 62-0. Rome came out on top of that. Alfred over Pope, 34-23. Muncie over Coosa, 28-0. Athens Academy over Mount Vernon, 49-16. Seminole County, 19-7 winners over Atkinson County. Glasscock County over Augusta Prep, 40-13. It was Kip and Best Academy on going to overtime. Bruce, 12-6 in overtime. Boy, there was some defense played in that game.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Randolph Clay, 42-6 winners over Baconton. And Baconton, man, there's nothing but football going around. That's all there. It doesn't even red light there.
That's right.
I think it's a 65-mile-an-hour speed zone right through there. Bainbridge won over Ware County, 35-21. Bainbridge got it going on too. Worth County 60-35 winners over Barium, and Bethlehem Christian winners 38-6 over Kings Ridge.
Okay, back to the phone lines we go. On the line with us now, Coach Chris Kearson, ECI. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys. How y'all this morning?
Great, Coach. Glad to have you with us. Last night, a great win over a pretty darn good Johnson County team.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we can get a secure win over Johnson County, that's good. I mean, Don Norton does a great job with those guys, man. They're playing hard, they're fast as usual, and anytime we match up, it comes down to the last possession.
I tell you, you're right about being fast. I don't know where all those kids come from, but I know some of them were, families from way back in the 70s. They had a lot of great kids come through, and I listened to some of the names, and it's their kids and grandkids that's coming through there. And I tell you, he's the right guy in the right place. He is great in that position.
Yeah, he's a great motivator, and it seems like those kids, it's always the same numbers, but it's just the names change. It's astounding how fast they are as a team every year.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the game last night and how it unfolded, and then let's talk a little bit about your team itself. We're extremely young. I've got 4 seniors on the team, 3 of which play significant minutes, and the rest are honestly the majority of it's freshman, sophomore. And the Lincoln County, we didn't seem to play particularly well at home that night. We just didn't show up, and we had a come to Jesus meeting that Monday, and our kids decided, we're going to practice hard, we're going to play hard, and we've had a really tough schedule. Playing Dublin and Swainsboro and Lincoln and Mather and Johnson and going to Jefferson County. So, I mean, we are really challenging these kids, and they've responded the last 3 weeks with playing extremely hard. Coach, let's talk a little bit about your upcoming schedule in your region that's coming up in a little while. But, of course, before you get there, you got Jefferson County. What can you tell us about them?
Well, it's typical Jefferson County, very athletic, long, got great speed, just big on the DL. I mean, we got our work cut out. We're not a very big team in some spots. We just got to rely on playing hard, playing fast, and just trying to be assignment savvy. And these young kids are getting confused some, and you can see it on film. But they're playing hard, and that's making up for some of the mistakes.
Coach, y'all's region is really this year is kind of turned around a little bit. You got Jenkins, who's undefeated. You got Portal, that's got athletes all over the place, and they're playing great. And then you got McIntosh County Academy, you guys, and you got a young Montgomery County team. But I tell you what, you got to play good to get out of that region.
Yeah, we've got our work cut out this year. I mean, and like I said, I'm not looking ahead to that, but I know how good Jenkins, Charlie, and I we're good friends, and we talk a lot. And they are really, really good. And Portal's got the best team they've had in several years, and McIntosh has always been been a solid football team, and they've won our region a couple times in a row, and we really got to. We're going to have to play well to come out of this region.
Coach, kind of shift gears a little bit. Reclassification's coming up. Of course, I'm not sure. Quite frankly, I don't trust the powers to be. But any thoughts on if you think there'll be any changes?
Yeah, I think there will. I think about the bottom 10 or 12 guys in that upper single A is going to drop down. That's my gut. And I think it's going to. I think our regions are going to kind of go back to how they were, about 6 years ago. I think ours is going to be a little bit bigger. I'm speculating still, but I do know we're going to increase in size, which is, I hate it for this. Just take, for example, teams like Portal who were playing with 215, 20 kids in a class, and I know it doesn't seem like a big jump, but when you add guys that have gotten 550, which is twice as many, it's a big disparity between those two.
And of course, we're not in any better boat, really. We've got probably 310 kids now. We've dwindled over the years. And like I said, that dropping those big boys in there, they tried to claim it in the office in Thompson that a lot of the problem was, the disparity was in the big schools. Well, listen, Coach, if you got 2,000, you got 3,000 students, that's not going to make a whole lot of difference at the end of the day.
No.
It's the little guys, because if you take a school with 200 kids, say half of them's boys, you're still not looking at very many kids that's going to be available for football. And when you break it down to actual athletes, that number is very low.
It is, and I know for a fact Coach Norton and Coach Tyson down at Clint's have really been outspoken about trying to keep things similar to how they are now. But you and I both know that the powers that be in the big metro schools are going to have the last say in it, and we're just kind of going to be at the mercy of those schools.
Yeah, this is the same squabble we had years ago when it was about the private schools that was creating so much trouble for us.
That's right.
They were winning all the championships. It gets right down to monies and the money situation, and quite frankly, they don't really care about us and the little money we put in. I think it's always going to be a problem.
Yep, I agree totally.
Well, Coach, listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great weekend. Good luck to you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you for having us on here. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Coach Chris Carson, ECI. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show after these messages. Stay tuned.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
The mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CTTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, we don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
Welcome back here to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show as we continue on this beautiful Saturday morning. We got kind of political a while ago.
Just a little bit. But it's sports, political sports.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And you know, we talk about how kids, you know, move from, we've talked many times about the kid, Garcia, that went Valdosta. He's not eligible after he made the trip from California here, but he goes straight to Grayson and they put him on the field. Come on, guys.
Then you got a kid that plays 2 or 3 games in one school, in one county, then goes to the next county over and plays that, and he's automatically out. I don't make sense.
No, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it sounds to me like those folks in Washington and the ones in Thomaston are all the same.
I think you're correct on that one. There's no doubt.
Thought process there, or lack thereof.
Lack thereof. There's no doubt about that.
I think we got Dexter. Oh, my goodness, we got Dexter on the phone.
Back on the line with us now this morning, Coach Dexter Copeland. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing today?
Good, Coach. Glad to have you with us. Of course, Dexter, head coach of the Macon County Bulldogs. Coach, last night, Sly County, I tell you, Darren Alford does a good job over there with those kids. And tell us a little bit about the game last night.
It was a rough night, rough start for us, to say the least. Started the first quarter, we kick off the Sly. Sly throws a little bubble pass. The little 5-star wide receiver shows why he was 5-star. He runs over our corner, and he outruns everybody for an 80-yard touchdown, first play of the game. They kick off to us. We fumble the kickoff. They get the ball on the 10-yard line, and they score again. I think it was 12 minutes in a quarter. I think 11 minutes and 50 seconds in the game, we were down 14-0.
Wow.
It happened just that fast. We think we gathered ourselves back. We get the next kickoff. We drive down the field. We score, make it 14-7. We turn the ball over again, start the second quarter. They score, make it 21-7. We're driving right before the half. And on the 10-yard line, we had a miscommunication between the quarterback and running back on an outside veer play, and we fumble that. So we go down, instead of being down 21-14 at the half, we're down 28-7 at the half. And the second half, I think both teams kind of traded numerous turnovers for the game to be finished at 34-7, Sly County win.
Coach, that's the difference of being there and looking at the scoreboard. I tell you, we've both been around long enough to know that with the young kids, even as good as they are on the field, that you get that far behind that early, it changes the complexion of the game completely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Turnovers and momentum in a high school football game, you know, it can just happen so fast, and sometimes you just can't recover. And Sly County is a great football team, and you can't turn over the football. We had 8 turnovers in the game.
Wow.
Last night, you give a number 1 team in the state 8 turnovers, I'm pretty sure they're going to win a football game.
Goodness, that's a big number.
Hey, Bruce, the score, what Dexter just talked about, the score of the game was not indicative of the competition. It reminds me of 1987 when Robbins Demons and the Northside Eagles played a game. The final score, I think, was 28-14, but it was in overtime.
Wow.
You remember that, Dexter? You remember that?
Yes, sir, I do.
I do too, because we were playing against each other that night.
My smaller brother played in that team. Yes, sir.
You and I both played in that game that game that night. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got off to a bad start, and we never recovered. And you got to give credit to Sly County. They didn't let us recover. I mean, they kept their foot on the brake, and we just could never just really catch up. But like I said, they're a great football team, but I would like to see us play better. I ain't making excuses, but I would like to see us play better and see what the outcome will be then.
Coach, next week is not going to get any easier. Manchester has been on fire this year. What can you tell us about them?
Manchester's a very, very physical football team, very big football team, and we got our hands tied with them also. You know, and our region is a tough region. You got 3 teams in the region that are ranked in the top 5. That tells you a lot about the football that's played in our region. We got to regroup and get ourselves back together, lick our wounds, and stop feeling sorry for ourselves and come back and play.
Well, Coach, I feel confident that you'll work through that and work your guys through it. Y'all been there before, and you know what it takes to win and get the job done. We appreciate you being with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll hope you'll take our call again in a few weeks.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, Coach. Have a good weekend. Coach
Yes,
Dexter
sir,
Copeland, the Macon County Bulldog head coach. And I tell you what, Dexter knows what it takes, and that's the kind of game that just eats you alive.
You know, Dexter's one of those guys that was a great player. He was actually a great baseball player too, Bruce. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Dexter was a great baseball player, and we played together growing up, played against each other growing up, football and baseball. And he's also just a great man. He's good. He's a great guy.
You could never say I was a great baseball player. I was below average at best. My other sport was actually track. I ran 2 mile and stuff like that. Worked on staying in shape and all for football, and that's the avenue that I took because I couldn't do the other stuff. Back to the phone line we go. On line now with us, Fannin County head coach Chad Cheatham. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, Coach. Last night in Gordon Central, what can you tell us about the ball game?
Well, I think we had a chance to clean up some things from the week before and get some people healthy, and I think that helped us a lot. We're off this week, so we were able to play a lot of bodies and get some experience with some younger kids, build some depth, and I think it'll pay dividends as we continue region play.
Yeah, I tell you, those old bumps and bruises can add up quickly, and
Yeah,
especially
no
if you're
doubt.
addressing 50 kids or less, that can mount up real quick, and it's sometimes it's kind of a little hard to overcome.
It is, especially like you said, with a short roster, and you've got 7 or 8, 9 offensive linemen. They're in the trenches all the time, and they're flipping back over and playing defense also. You just got to be really careful what you do in practice, and any time you got a freshman, you got to stick in there, or a sophomore, and you just got to be ready to go and develop those young kids.
Coach, tell us a bit about your offense. What makes it go like it does?
Well, we've got it. We're a muddle huddle, and which is different than a lot of people, which means we stay in the huddle till we run the play clock down, and then we're straight to the line of scrimmage, snap it real fast, and then we have the ability to go tempo if we want to. I think not showing our hand early, letting where defenses can't really get a beat and adjust where we're going to be. That's one of the good things about it is obviously with a good quarterback, a good back in the backfield, really good offensive line. You can score some points pretty quick.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about y'all's region. I tell you, there's some mighty good teams in that region, and there's a couple there that the records I think are very misleading.
Oh, yeah. When you talk about guys like Rockmart and North Murray and Model and those guys, I mean, Biff's over there playing great people because he knows it's going to pay him dividends in the region play and then down into the playoffs. It's kind of like us playing Murphy. Murphy's a traditional powerhouse, and you come over here and play come over to Murphy and play a very good Murphy team. It's only going to help you in the future. Union's the same way. Play Union out of region, and you got to play good people to get better. It's not indicative of their record. Is not indicative of how good those teams are for sure.
Oh, absolutely not. I know, right, Mark? Coach Biff Parsons has been with us several times. I think I may have him scheduled for next week. I tell you, it's unbelievable how good those guys really are.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for quite a while. I kind of followed him at Banks, and then he went to Rockmart, and he built that thing. And man, he's got a lot of players, a lot of great athletes. I've watched them in track and field in the spring, and they just keep producing great athletes, great speed, and big, strong kids.
Coach, you guys play in AA, and I tell you what, there's some mighty fine teams in AA all across the state.
Yeah, really. And the funny thing is, it seems that, we get to the playoffs, and maybe the last 4 years, I mean, somehow we end up drawing Pace Academy, and we end up drawing Callaway and Fitzgerald. I think we played them twice. And it's just, it's tough. You're right.
And I tell you, there's been so many good ones that come out there, and Fitzgerald's an example that how tough it is to win in that league. I can't tell how many times that they made it deep into the playoffs to run into a powerhouse on the other side. Coach, let's talk a little bit about your seniors. How many kids seniors do you have?
Coach, we only have about 5 seniors,
wow.
And one of them, only one really plays for us, Brody Pascal. Number 19, he plays our tight end, and he plays outside linebacker on defense. We've got some young seniors that are pretty new to the program that spot play a little bit. But this class, since I got to Fannin in 18, we knew this class was slim, and we were going to have, our numbers were going to be down. The fortunate thing is that our junior class is really strong with a lot of numbers, and also our sophomore class. And freshman class is good, and our 8th grade class is the biggest that I've seen in a long time. So hopefully we can, bring those kids along and keep building the program.
And it must be something in the water. Our last 3 years, it's the 8th grade climbing up to the freshmen. They were big, and then that kind of started the trend. So we got a couple of years that are pretty good size. Our senior class, I guess, for the last 4 or 5 years has only been 4 or 5 kids, and so we seem to be building every year.
Well, that's the kind of way it is for us too. I mean, we morph everything we do every year. You really don't know. The good thing is this junior class has been with us now for 3 years, and they've been on the grass a lot because a lot of them started as freshmen.
Well, Coach, listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great weekend. Good luck, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Anytime, Coach. Coach Chad Cheatham, head coach of Fannin County. We're going to take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Food Mart is a great place for snacks, cold drinks, and great Hunt Brothers Pizza. Then there's gas with easy in and out on the corner of Dooley and Commerce Streets across from the post office. Solo Food Mart, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2584. Solo, your stop for Hunt Brothers Pizza, cold drinks, snacks, lottery, and friendly staff.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Let's play Who Wants to Volunteer in Your Community with Ella in Santa Monica, California.
Hey, wait, I don't want to volunteer.
Volunteering can really be fun. In fact, we've asked your entire algebra class here to tell you more.
But we were thinking that you should start tutoring people because you're all like smart and stuff.
I should?
You free tonight?
Sure.
To find out ways you can volunteer in your community, log on to teensvolunteer.org. teamsvolunteer.org. Do what you like to do. Volunteer. A public service message brought to you by the USA Freedom Corps, the U.S. Department of Justice, the Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. As we continue about 6 minutes before the top of the hour, we'll get some scores with Chuck.
Thanks, Bruce. We'll start off in Blakely County. They're back on the winning track last night, won 43-21 over Pelham. Bowden over Temple, 42-20. Bradley Central over Heritage Catoosa, 35-16. Similar score, Bradwell Institute over McIntosh County Academy, 35-14. Pierce County on the road, Brantley County were 56-6 winners. Buford, number one player in America at Buford, Mr. Dylan Raiola threw for a lot of touchdowns last night. They won 30-3 over Marietta. That Marietta team, Bruce, sounds like they probably are on the rebuilding side there.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. There's so many good teams up in that area that I just don't think there's enough players over that way anymore.
Yeah, Marietta is traditionally a very good football team. Burke County over Statesboro, 34-0. Laney on the road to Butler, won 47-16. Cairo were 55-0 winners over Salem. Camden County, 47-7 over Atlantic Coast High School.
Chuck, before you go any further, there's one game that I want to talk about real quick.
Yeah.
Last night I watched a little bit on TV. Grayson, 40-0 over Lowndes last night.
I was going to talk to John about that.
Wow.
Because he was, they had that. He was at that game last night. I was talking. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Grayson won the game. I'm surprised that Grayson dominated that like that.
Yeah, and I tell you, Lowndes is not back. Since Randy McPherson retired, they're searching for a new identity, and it just hasn't happened yet. Not saying it won't happen, but things are just not going as well for those guys down there. I know they play a tough schedule, and I know they have to go up north a lot, but, it was last week, it was East Coweta getting them, and then last night it was Grayson. Next week, or in 2 weeks, their crosstown rival, Valdosta, who actually lost his first game last night. I think before these two guys play, they needed a week off, and that's going to be a brutal war.
There's no shortage of resources down there.
No, absolutely not.
The only two schools in the county down there, and everybody who's listening to this knows the story of Valdosta and Lowndes County, the whole county as a whole in high school football. The traditions down there, both those schools are just, go way back.
And, for years it was just Valdosta. Lowndes was there, but nobody paid it any attention. And then all of a sudden things changed, and they became a force.
I think in 1980 was their first state championship, and they've rattled off several since then. And, when we played against those guys every year I played. Man, they were always tough. So there's no shortage of resources down there. You ride by Lowndes County High School on the interstate going down. You see how huge that is. They got an indoor practice facility. They got all the kids they want. So I'll guarantee you they'll bounce back because that community revolves around high school football.
I know that was probably back in around 90 or so that the student body got upset, and they had a sort of a walkout and all, and things began to change in that county after that, and like you said, things changed, and Coach Miller came in there, and they started to build in that tradition from that point on, and all of a sudden there's two guys in town, and actually three if you want to count Valwood, who won a lot of ball games and won championships over in the GISA. So that county has got great ball in it.
They are absolutely trust me, in the private school world, Valwood and John Miller's are the ones that you don't want to play.
That's right. We're going to take a break. You listen to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right on the XL Sports Network.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Connected with the river.
You with the sad heart. Don't be discouraged, don't realize it's hard to.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, we don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show as we pause 10 seconds to allow the stations to identify themselves. You're listening to the XL Sports Network. The Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. Bruce, Chuck, and Ken. Eddie is on assignment, if you will. He's out announcing the opening day of the rec department football games. So he goes out. They seem to contact him every season to do this, and he's gracious enough to go out there and do that.
You know, he texted me the other day, asked me if I'd step in for him on the end of the show today, and I was absolutely glad to do that. And told me why, and I tell you, it's got to be an honor. You know, it would be an honor for me if they asked me to do that. You know, anytime you can be around the young kids like that, you know, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Back to the phone line we go. Line with us now, Coach Mike Feaster, Long County. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Good, Coach.
Good.
Glad to have you with us as always, and find out kind of what's going on in your neck of the woods. Last night, you guys took on Savannah Country Day. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was what we expected, a very, very tough region game against a very good team with a bunch of good players, and it was competitive. It was right down to the wire, and they made a few more plays than we did, and they got the win. And but it was a good, very, very good high school football game.
Coach, tell us a little bit about how it broke down and how it ended up like it did.
Well, it was low scoring game, which is not really what we expected, but our defense played extremely well last night. Created some turnovers, had a couple interceptions. Amari Douglas, our running back, who's kind of more known to be our running back, he stepped in and played some corner for us, and he ended up with 2 interceptions. And he had a big long touchdown run for us. But it was 6-3 us at the half. We held them to a field goal in the first half, and then we had a turnover. And snapped it over the punter's head, and it gave them a short field, and they scored. So they got up on us, and then, from there, it was kind of back and forth. And I think they got it out to 17-6 at one point. We scored, got the 2-point, made it 17-14. And from there, it was just a defensive battle, and we had a 4th down and with about 3 minutes to go, and about 10-yard line, and got stopped. And they ran the clock out. So, but it was a battle. It was back and forth. It was competitive all night.
Coach, tell us a bit about your team and some of your key players.
Yeah, we're really, really competitive. We have a big senior class. Again, these are kids that were sophomores when they got here and have been with us for 3 years, and they understand what we expect, and they've gotten a lot better. Amari Douglas, I mentioned before, does a tremendous job for us carrying the ball, and he plays some defense for us. He's great. We have a new quarterback this year that moved into our area's military family and moved into Fort Stewart, and Deshaun Mangum, and he's been a huge addition for us, allows us to throw the ball a little bit more, and our offensive line has 4 seniors starting, including tight end, and so we're senior heavy. And defensively, we've got 7 or 8 returning starters from last year, and they're playing really, really well. And led by Stephen Wyatt, a senior linebacker, Kenny Pickens, a junior linebacker that kind of he's a quarterback of the defense for us. And so we got a good core group of kids that have been here with us for 3 years, and they're giving us a chance every week.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about y'all's region. Y'all got a very tough region. I tell you, we used to be in a region with a lot of those guys over that way, and when you look at it with Calvary Day, Savannah Christian, Liberty County, Savannah Country Day, you guys, Beach, Johnson, and Groves, you got to work to get through that region, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. It's and there's no mystery. I mean, you got the big two. You got the Calvary and Christian, and of course they played last night, and it was a very competitive game for most part, it sounds like, and those are the top 2 kind of class of the region. And then I feel like we've gotten ourselves and Liberty and Country Day kind of in that next kind of tier, and so the 3 of us are kind of battling it out for the 3 and the 4 seed, and hopefully we can play well this week, and if we can find a way to upset Christian, we can kind of make some noise. But I feel really good about where we're at in the region, and we're having discussions in Long County they never had. So it's good to have ourselves in a position to be discussing playoff positions and competing in region games and that kind of thing.
Coach, this is going to be a sort of a silly question to some of the listeners. What's the furthest y'all have to travel for a region game?
Let's see. The furthest we have to travel for a region game is to drive to the other side of Savannah to play, because the Savannah Public Schools share stadiums. So we have to go out to Savannah High, which is about 50 miles. But with traffic, you're looking at an hour and a half.
Well, the traffic's what makes that one really bad.
Yeah. For us, the distance isn't terrible. We're kind of the outlier in the region. All the private schools in Savannah, the 3 Savannah public schools, and then Liberty's right down the road from us. We're the outlier. So it's really not bad for us.
Well, Coach, one final question: reclassification.
Yes.
How much changes do you expect?
It's really hard to tell. I spent some time this winter and kind of did my own study based on last year's numbers and split them up fairly evenly. And I think it's all going to kind of depend on, we're growing. As a district, our numbers continue to grow. We're building houses in Long County, and, the Hinesville overgrowth we're getting a lot of. I hope we can stay in this AAA kind of level where we're at now. But it's going to be significant. I'd really like to get back with like Tatnall and Brantley and those guys, kind of more traditional teams for us. And as a South Georgia kind of smaller school kind of guy, we got to get rid of the private schools in terms of from the playoff seedings or whatever we got to do. But it's the distinction between what they're able to do and how they operate and the rest of us is just wildly remarkable. And so that's a push that I don't think we'll ever be able to get again. They had that for a while, but I think some of the rule changes with the multiplier thing might push some of those privates back down a little bit, which would be good for us.
We're talking with Coach Mike Feaster, Long County. Well, Coach, we'll continue to look at and watch what's going on in Thomaston, and hopefully we'll get things settled out, and it will be okay for all of us.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. Thanks,
you
buddy.
too, Coach. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Coach Mike Feaster, head coach of Long County. And last night played region rivals Savannah Country Day. Came up a little bit short, 17-14. Of course, reclassification is coming, whether we want it or not, as they continue to work on this thing on a weekly basis. Of course, we'll try to stay up to date with what's going on, and as they start making actual plans. We'll kind of bring you that information as we move along. Of course, we'd like to thank all the coaches for taking time out of their busy schedule, spending it with us. Without them, we wouldn't even be here. Back to the phone line we go. On the line with us now, Coach Ben Simmons, Turner County. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. Glad to have you back with us. It's been a while since we had an opportunity to talk to you. Talk a little bit about Turner County, your team you got this year.
Well, we're currently 2-4. We took a loss last night against a great quality Dooley County team. So, you know how it is, kind of waking up after a Saturday morning after that experience. But we got great things in the making. I feel really good about our program and the direction it's headed.
Well, Coach, when I looked at y'all's schedule, you guys have played a very tough schedule. You beat a much larger Worth County team, and then you played Fitzgerald, played them pretty tight for a while, and then Randolph Clay, you beat them, and then you went around and played a Irwin County team who was always in the mix for a championship every year. Played them extremely close, and then you had a close game with Westover, another big school. And so, and then Dooley County last night, they, people in our neck of the woods, because they're in the region with us, they said, they're 0-3, there's nothing. Said, you better go back and look at the schedule those guys have played. They're like y'all, they've played a brutal schedule too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our non-region schedule is really competitive, and kind of is going to put us in a position to compete in our region, which is a tough region that we do have. It was a schedule that I inherited, but even still, just like you mentioned, the Worth County team, a much bigger classification, bigger school, more students, Fitzgerald, Irwin County, Westover. A lot of those teams that we're playing, they have the opportunity to have guys that they can rotate in and out, and we have to go both ways, and even on special teams too as well. So just to even stay competitive is a plus for us, but it makes us battle tested, and I feel really good about that aspect. But kind of just makes it to our guys, we're still just kind of up and down, and not really putting things together. And we've got to work on that. We got an off week, a well-deserved off week that's coming up, to kind of get some things together, because we have a tough region coming up. And in fact, we open it up with the Charleston County at home on October 6th.
And when you look at y'all's region, Charlton County, Clinton County, Lanier County, who is playing great, they're I think for the first time ranked in the top 10. They're playing great ball. And then Atkinson County, I tell you got to do your work to get through that region and try to be in one of the 4 slots.
That region, even still, we're single A Division II. It's one of the toughest regions in our classification. You always got a quality program. Charleston might be a little down a little bit this year, but I mean, if they're a Charlton County football team, Clinton County, always, and just like you mentioned, Lanier County, and I've been saying it all year, they're on the rise. Coach Williams doing an awesome job with his program, with that program, getting those guys to buy in and do the things that they want done, improvement to that program, and you can recognize and see that they're now ranked. They're proven to be, and they are a quality ball club that's going to compete for the region championship. At Atkinson County, Coach Bobby Jones is back into the fold as head coach. You know that guy through the years, the quality program that he's had, as he's trying to steal that in Atkinson County. So we have a tough region to get prepared for.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the fact this is your second run at Turner County. Let's talk about the number of kids you got and what the program looked like when you got there.
I'll say this: for me, it was an easy. It was an easy thought process in going back to Turner County. There's some place that really call home to as well. But to come back, a little bit of changes that were different from when I was there before. Got to get the kids to understand our program, what it needs to take to take and get to the next level. And it's not just prepared during all for football season. Prepare for football is year round now. You got to do the off-season work. You got to be committed to the off-season program. You got to be committed in other sports. We're a single-A school, so we got to share athletes. So, I'm always encouraging our guys to make sure, again, hey, I want you doing basketball. I want you doing wrestling. I want you doing track, soccer. Anything else is going to just keep you active, keep you going. But we have to understand why weights are important, why conditioning is important, and that aspect within itself will help us athletically. But also what's truly important, has always been important to me, each and every place I've gone, is your commitment into the classroom, doing what's expected, what's required with your teachers, making sure that your grades are most important, because in our program, we're not just developing athletes on the field. I want to develop men and women, because I do coach track with girls too as well, that when they graduate, they can go to one of three areas. You're either in college, going to the military, or even if you decide to go into the workforce, that you're a quality citizen that's going to help out our country.
Coach, how many kids do you dress out now?
We have 30 on, I call them a dirty 30. We have 30 kids on our roster.
Coach, how about your feeder program? How are they?
Now, that was one thing as well, too, coming back, that I wanted to make sure that we really got off going, was our middle school program, because they were really down when I got there, not consistent, not being in the forefront, and we've really taken a big push to get our middle school kids going, our middle school program, and within our program, I've seen the numbers rise. We've had up to 41 kids in our middle school program with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Our rec department has come back into the fold. Coach Clifford Johnson, old school chief, he's doing a great job at instilling our rec department. Those kids are starting to play games even now in the different age levels and divisions. So to understand that feeder system and how important that is, to bring that back, to get that going, that was a priority as me coming back and it started to work and started to see progress as it shows.
Coach, one final question. Reclassification coming up. Your thoughts?
Reclassification. Here's my main thing. If you have a school that questions about travel, they don't need to drop down. They can move up. Let's keep the quality. Let's keep the programs. Let's keep the schools aligned where they should be, numbers-wise, all the way through and through. And I don't have any issues with that.
I agree with you on that one. Well, Coach, listen, it's great to get caught up with you again. We hope to call you again in a few weeks. Have a great weekend. Good luck to you guys in the weeks to come, and we appreciate you being on with us.
Hey, thank you so much.
Anytime, Coach. Coach Ben Simmons, head coach of Turner County, making his second stop there.
Yep. Hey, we go back to Coach Feister talking about the longest drive they have for this year is an hour and a half. As a player and a coach for several years, I don't ever remember a season where that was my closest road game. We always at least 2 or 3 hours every year, at least once. Hour and a half, you can take the school bus and not have to worry about doing a charter.
Right.
I think every single year I played and coached, we had to take at least one charter somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice for those guys.
Yeah, I know the small private schools and those like a Covenant and place like that, the travel sometimes can be brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to take a break. You're listening to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. This Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Food Mart is a great place for snacks, cold drinks, and great Hunt Brothers Pizza. Then there's gas with easy in and out on the corner of Dooley and Commerce Streets across from the post office. Solo Food Mart, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2584. Solo, your stop for Hunt Brothers Pizza, cold drinks, snacks, lottery, and friendly staff.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in
I walk the
Hawkinsville.
mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
Solo Food Mart is a great place for snacks, cold drinks, and great Hunt Brothers Pizza. Then there's gas with easy in and out on the corner of Dooley and Commerce Streets across from the post office. Solo Food Mart, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2584. Solo, your stop for Hunt Brothers Pizza, cold drinks, snacks, lottery, and friendly staff.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Let's play Who Wants to Volunteer in Your Community with Ella in Santa Monica, California.
Hey, wait, I don't want to volunteer.
Volunteering can really be fun. In fact, we've asked your entire algebra class here to tell you more.
But we were thinking that you should start tutoring people because you're all like smart and stuff.
I should?
You free tonight?
Sure.
To find out ways you can volunteer in your community, log on to teensvolunteer.org. Do what you like to do. Volunteer. A public service message brought to you by the USA Freedom Corps, the U.S. Department of Justice, the Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. As we continue, I want to say hey to the folks out at the Hawkinsville Placer County Recreation Department as they are having opening day. Of course, Eddie's out there, and he said he was going to stream the show. I want to say hey to all the folks out there, and hey to a lot of the kids, and quite a few of them know me from school.
Eddie, even though you're wearing an ugly colored shirt, we still miss you.
All he needs is stripes on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and a stenciled number on the back.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's probably got one on somewhere.
I thought that's where they got their colors from. Is that how they got their colors?
That's where Tennessee got theirs. So when they got out on Friday night, all they had to do was go straight to the game at UT.
Yeah, on loan from whatever institution.
Yeah, that's it.
That's funny.
Chuck, we were talking reclassifications coming, and I tell you, there's always that's always a very hot topic when we go into the fall with that.
So it's impossible to keep everybody happy when you talk about reclassification. Somebody is not going to be happy about what decisions that are made, and regardless of how fair, what's fair to one person or one institution or one fan base is going to be unfair to another. So, that's just the nature of it. You can't make everybody happy.
Well, they try to say the disparities at the top end of the big schools. No, the disparities at the bottom. It's the little guys.
What you described is absolutely point on. You got a school with 2,000 kids or a school with 3,000 kids. Regardless, you're going to have well over 100
right.
football players and that can play that, and great athletes. But you go 200 versus 300. There's a big difference.
And we'll try 200 and nearly 600.
Yeah,
that's that little school number, that school with 200. It's never going to compete with those other guys.
That's what we were faced. That's what we were faced back years ago when I was at Covenant. GISA wanted to go from three classes to 2, and they wanted to put us. We had 128 students.
Right.
And I think I'm throwing numbers out there. I think the threshold, or maybe it was 132 students, and the threshold was 128. They were putting us in with the schools that had 1,000 kids.
Right. You can't do that.
Yeah. Not only that, it was going to crush our programs, but not only that, the travel. They figured out for all the sports, it's going to be over 3,500 miles in one season, one school year, and we said, we just can't do that. And that's when that other association started up. And we joined that association. That was the GICAA.
I know when we first they started putting the private schools with us in Class A, we got knocked out year after year in baseball, especially with the schools from Savannah. We couldn't compete with those guys.
Well,
I mean, it's not. If you take a Class A school that's rural like we are here in Hawkinsville or Wilcox or Dooley, and then you take a Class A school that's in Columbus or Atlanta or Macon, there's no comparison.
Right.
None.
Well, you're not supposed to recruit in the public schools. We know that happens, but you're not supposed to do that. But private schools, there's no restrictions on recruiting. That's how they get their selling.
And I have no problem with that. I mean, but you're not comparing apples to apples.
Right.
And the old line, and I was probably as guilty in the 90s as saying as anybody else. 11 kids. 11 kids are not the same.
Not the same.
It's just like that way back when Lincoln County, I think it was playing maybe Darlington, one of them, and something was said about the kids and stuff like that, and I think it was where Thanksgiving was coming up, and Lincoln wanted to play it on Friday night, and the other school wanted to play it on Saturday night, and no, the other school wanted to play it on Friday night, and Lincoln wanted to play it on Saturday. Well, the private school said, well, a lot of our kids have got flights booked home for the holidays. Well, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
So,
and God bless them. I've got nothing but respect for them and the programs they got, but you cannot compare the two programs.
So I'll go back to a situation here, just to throw that kind of out there. We were can't remember what year it was, several years ago. It was one of the, maybe in last year I coached, or the year before that. We were going to travel, had to travel up north, all the way up to North Georgia. I'm not going to say the name of the school, but way up North Georgia to play this school. And we learned that they had like 30 kids that did not go, that went to the public school, attended the public school.
Right.
But they were playing football at the private school. What happened was they got kicked off the football team at the public school, and they were playing at the private school. And we found this out, and so we talked to the association. They said, yeah, we know about it. We've already told them they are not eligible for the playoffs. We don't sanction any of their games. If y'all don't play them, it's fine, but it's going to be a non-sanctioned game. If you drop them, then you're not going to take a penalty for it. So we were at a point in our attrition, at the end of the season, we lost some kids, and we were down to about, now we're playing 11-man football. We're down to about 14 or 15 kids, healthy kids. And we decided it wasn't worth us to drive all the way up there. It was going to cost the school a lot of money, or the booster a lot of money. And plus, we go up there. This is a week before the playoffs start. We're in the playoffs. Why should we risk taking a chance on us getting our kids hurt, spending all that money for a non-sanctioned game? Boy, I tell you what, those guys, man, they didn't like that at all.
Well, and I'm not going to say what area of the state or anything, but this a guy left the public school's head coach. He went across town, went to the private school. He took about 20 of his kids from the public school to the private school. They win a championship. I mean, come on, guys, you're not proving nothing. If you're currently joining us on YouTube, please like and subscribe to listen live. Of course, you go to xlsportsnetwork.net. Press the button that says listen live on any of the pages that we have. It can be the River, it can be Saturday Morning Quarterback, it can be Hogsville Red Devil Sports. Any page on there, just hit and the listen live, and it'll get you. Listen in. We've got, of course, the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We got Hogsville High School football. We've been doing this. I started this in 1993. Chuck, you have a show on Thursday.
That's right. The Thursday Drive at 5, the XL Sports Network College Football Drive at 5. I do that with Will Nobles and my son Chaz. Chaz is a recent graduate of Florida State University, so he's very familiar with what's going on down there in Tallahassee. But he's also a big dog fan. We're all big dog fan, but we try to kind of filter our bias for Georgia, but we talk a lot about the college, recap the week before and then showcase what's coming up the next week. So if you guys will listen in, subscribe to that, and tell your friends and families about it too. It's a really cool thing, and go to the steakhouse and tell them that we sent you from here, from the XL Sports Network.
Chuck, back to looking at some of the scores from last night.
We got Campbell and Wheeler. Wheeler's on the road and won 45-0. Cass beat ML King 40-0. Creekside over Chapel Hill 49-14. Here's a game, Bruce. I bet you the fans were not disappointed. Cambridge went to Chattahoochee 27-26. That must have been a great game. North Hall over Cherokee Bluff 27-17. Jenkins County over Claxton 50-14. I think Claxton's down this year a little bit there, Bruce. Clinch County over Frederica. Wow, Frederica Academy got scalded 45-7. That's kind of a surprise. Let's see, on down you got Colquitt and Cedar Grove 50-42. Colquitt were winners. Mary Persons went on the road to Columbus, won 55-0. Commerce and Banks County. Commerce was 38-21. And Cook over Jeff Davis 21-6.
Chuck, a couple scores that piqued my interest from last night. McEachern defeating Valdosta 28-7. Wow. The other one is Metter, 2014 winners over Irwin County. Don't look now, but Irwin's sort of struggling this year, and I guarantee you they get in the playoffs. They're always a different team, but right now Irwin County, for the first time in number of years, are 2-3 on the season. They of course lost the opening game to Fitzgerald. That's an arch rival that's just right down the road from them, 28-0. They beat the Dooley County Bobcats 34-20. Then they beat Turner County by a score of 48-36. Then they lost to Rockmart 28-16. They lost to Metter 20-14. And things are not getting easier for them. Next week Irwin County has got to go to Swainsboro. And they also have a matchup with in the regular season with Brooks County, and they also have a matchup with Early County within the region. That's coming up in the weeks to come. So a different look there, and it's just kind of interesting to see those two guys having those nights.
That's a tough schedule, Bruce. A really tough schedule.
Brutal.
But you talk about Metter, and Metter's there's not a whole lot to do out there in Metter.
No.
So football is probably, at this time of the year, probably the number one thing.
It's king of the sports. We're going to take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Wrestling Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
One night in Austin, Texas, Christy Lanahan took a walk downtown. She listened to a band. She had a bite to eat. And while walking back to her car, she was killed by a drunk driver. Next time your friend insists on driving drunk, do whatever it takes to stop him. Because if he kills innocent people, how will you live with yourself? Friends don't let friends drive drunk. An appeal to intervene from the Ad Council, the Department of Transportation, and this station.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils!
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We're here every Saturday morning, 9 to 12, fast 3 hours in radio, and we'll be here each week throughout the course of season, 14 straight weeks. The last one will be the Saturday before Thanksgiving this year. We have taken it up to Thanksgiving weekend, and we have even taken it as far as the week after. And a couple of years we actually took it all the way to championship weekend, but it's a lot more difficult now. The GHSA really didn't want us up there doing those programs. Matter of fact, if you're not attached to a team that's broadcasting, you're not allowed to be up there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because there's a lot of fans out there that are interested in the whole state, not just what's in their own community once their team's out. So yeah, that's unfortunate.
I've always asked them, just go ahead and charge me. I'll be glad to pay, just like everybody else. We go back to the phone line. On the phone line with us now, Coach Travis Nolan in Jefferson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good, Coach. Glad to have you with us this morning. I tell you, it's beginning to feel a little bit like football weather, finally.
Yeah, it feels nice. I was sitting out on the back porch watching college game day and drinking some coffee.
I could sit there and watch the game day. I'd have to bring my glass of iced tea with me. I'm at 64, I'm still too young to drink coffee.
I hear you.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your team and your program, and let's talk a little bit about the win last night over Clark Central.
Yeah, it was a good win for us. Clark Central is a very talented, big, physical, fast football team, and they played extremely hard and well, and we felt it was going to take us 48 minutes to beat them going into it, and that's what it took. But it was a good game.
Coach, tell us a bit about how the game shook out and how y'all got the lead and kept it.
Yeah, well, we hit a couple balls early into Sammy Brown for a score, and then another one got a critical third down conversion, and then we drove it on down and scored. And we were up 13-0 early in the first quarter, but then things just balanced out, and it was back and forth all the way up until the last couple of minutes of the game.
Coach, I got to tell you, Coach Perno made the transition from coaching University of Georgia baseball to coaching high school football and has done a tremendous job with that program.
He has. I got a lot of respect for his program and him, and he's done a terrific job. And they got a really good football team that's going to continue to get better. And but Coach Perno does a good job there.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your team itself, your different kids that makes things happen for y'all, and a little bit about the numbers of kids that you have and seniors.
Yeah, we've got a somewhat of a smaller senior class. I think we've got 17 seniors, if I'm correct in saying that, close to that. But we got a good group of seniors that are giving us good leadership. We're still trying to find our way as a team. You know, we hit the halfway mark last night with Game 5, and we're starting to get an identity of who we are. But, we're still a lot of football to play, and we got a tough region that we're in, and we just try to take it 1 week at a time and 1 day at a time and keep trying to get better.
Coach, you mentioned region. You guys are in there with Winder Barrow, Eastside, Loganville, Heritage, Clark Central, and Flowery Branch. That's an extremely tough region.
It is, and we got one tough region game behind us, and we've got several in front of us, but we just got to take them one at a time. And Winder Barrow is our next opponent, and they're 4-1 at the time, I think, or 3-1, and playing really good football.
Coach, what's the health of your team at this point in the season?
Oh, we're healthy. That we really just we got some bumps and bruises, but nobody's out, and hopefully we can stay healthy as we go through the region schedule.
Coach, moving forward, of course, we've talked about this a little bit this morning, reclassifications upon us as they're working on it now. Any changes you expect for you guys?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with the multiplier as far as, if they change when a kid enrolls before the 6th grade, it would help us tremendously, because a lot of people that come to Jefferson come in the elementary school years. So that could help us a little bit. But, I got enough on my plate right now to be worried about reclass in the future. We got to just try to focus on being the best team we can be each week right now.
Coach, quickly before we let you go, as you look at high school football in your area, how do you think it compares now to when you got into coaching?
I think it's better. I think Northeast Georgia football has got some really good teams from 1A all the way up to 7A, and I think this area has got a lot of programs that are committed to football, and from a financial standing and facilities, and there's a lot of really good players. I think the state of football in the whole state of Georgia is on the up and up, and I'm very proud to be part of it and be a football coach in Georgia high school football.
Coach Travis Sullivan, head coach of Jefferson. Well, Coach, listen, always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your coffee and game day, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Coach. Anytime. It's got the best of all of it. Yeah. I mean, sitting out on the back porch, he's watching game day and enjoying a Saturday morning that's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I'll be on my back porch in about 2 hours from now watching some games. Then I have to go to a wedding. Same thing this afternoon. So
no, we've got a Saturday's doctor visit.
I'm going to hear when I get home. My wife's going to slap me in the head for saying that. But it is what it is.
Never scheduled during football season.
That's right.
And of course, I high school football is in full swing as we get it mid-season.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Back to the phone lines. We go on the line with us now, Coach Alan Chadwick Camaris. Coach, good morning and glad to have you with us again.
Hey, thank you, fellas. Appreciate being here.
Absolutely, Coach. Off weeks. Y'all's plans from what are y'all doing with the off week or have done with the off week, and what's it look like going into next week?
Well, I would say we needed a break. We needed a rest. That's what we tried to accomplish this week. We had 5 of the toughest games, first 5 games we've ever had here at Marist in my entire career. Opened up with Gainesville, up in Gainesville. We played Savannah Christian, Ralph Fine program and football team, Pike Road out of Alabama, Blessed Trinity, Woodward Academy, which we went into overtime. And so we've had just a really tough schedule, and it's been a real grind for us day in, day out, getting to this point. So one thing we wanted to do was kind of back off a little bit, give our kids a rest, try to get well with little bumps and bruises, and then a couple of hard days of practice where we tried to work on some things we need to work on. We need to improve that in our game. But it's been very productive, and we'll go back to work on Monday and put the nose to the grindstone and get back to work.
Coach, you talk about the bumps and bruises. It is as important as it is to get the physical rest. That mental rest has got to be very important too.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, our kids are in a big strain academically as well, and it's a 24-hour day for them. And you know, they're going from sun up till sun now, and late in the night and studying and practicing hard, and having to deal with all the heat that we had too. You know, we've only just recently gotten a break with the heat, so that was another point of contention we had to work on. And it's good to have a little bit cooler weather. You know, practices aren't such a grind for them, and this off week has been good for us. Came at a great time, and then we got to turn around next week and play another season. So it doesn't get any easier for us, you know. But I really like the way our kids are playing. They're playing really hard. They're believing in themselves. They're believing in each other. We're getting great leadership from our senior group, as well as even some of our juniors are doing a great job leading. And they're playing hard and believing and giving us everything they got.
Coach, do you play any freshmen at all on the varsity?
No, not at this point in time. We have in the past, but generally our philosophy there is that if physically not quite capable of playing week in, week out at the varsity level, very seldom do we have somebody that's capable of doing that. Now, we may bring up a few of them at the end of the season to help, you know, develop them a little bit longer, you know, a little bit more, and give them some reps and start to understand the varsity game a little bit. But we do play a few sophomores, but this particular year we're very thin sophomore-wise in terms of those that are actually contributing on the varsity. Now, that's going to be a good one for us moving forward, but they're not quite there yet.
Coach, as you face the rest of the season, your thoughts on your region as far as the competition?
Well, it's going to start next week with Dunwoody, an undefeated team that likes to throw the ball around a great deal. You know, and then we got North Atlanta in a few weeks from there, and then St. Pius and then Riverwood. Pius is struggling a little bit right now, scoring some points, but North Atlanta is certainly scoring a lot of points, and they're throwing the ball around a great deal. We play them on a Thursday night down at Old Grady Stadium, so that's always a source of concern because it's an unusual schedule for our kids having to play on a weeknight. But based on what I've seen from this group, I think they'll be ready, and they're certainly going to play hard.
We're talking with Coach Alan Chadwick, head coach at Marist. Coach, listen, always a pleasure talking to you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, great. Thank you, fellas. I really appreciate what y'all do for high school football.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Alan Chadwick of Marist. Those guys are 4-1 on the season. They'll take on 5-0 Dunwoody next week. We'll take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Wrestler Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
The mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough, and call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law, Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, we don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. As we continue, just got off the phone with Coach Alan Chadwick of Marist. 39 years as head coach there.
That's incredible. We talked about the Hall of Fame. Obviously he's going to be, if he's not already, he's going to be in the Georgia Sports.
3 state championships, 21 region titles, and with the academic standards of that school. Yeah. Wow, that's impressive.
That is very impressive. Very, very impressive. And, we talked about, too, that's as a head coach. Then you get it back to the years as assistant coach along the lines. That's pretty impressive, no doubt.
It has been a while doing that. As we continue, glad that you're with us this morning. Back to the phone lines we go. On the line with us now, we're talking with Coach Phillip Jones up at Brookwood. Good morning, Coach. Glad to have you with us.
Hey, good morning. How are you, Bruce?
Coach, couldn't be any better. I mean, geez, I'm living the dream here, getting to talk to all you guys. And I tell you what, there's nothing more fun to do on a Saturday morning than what we do.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. I'm equally as blessed, man. Do a little something different, but I'm a blessed man. Well, good morning. Always great to be on with you.
Coach, we appreciate that. And, we talk to coaches doing all kinds of things on a Saturday morning. What are you up to this morning?
Well, I'm actually hanging out with my son Thomas, and we're about to go watch him play a little soccer game this morning. So excited to get to watch him, and the weather couldn't be more perfect to do it.
Wow, it's absolutely gorgeous. Coach, Thursday night, you guys took on South Forsyth. You beat them 42-35. What can you tell us about it?
Whew, it was a tough game. We played some games here in a row where we've had to really battle, and I credit to South Forsyth. They played really well, and their offense really came alive for them. And so we had a game where we kind of had to battle it all the way to the end. And they kind of kept capturing the lead, and we kept coming back. And we finally found a way to stop them about middle of the way through the fourth quarter. And we got the ball back actually with kind of like a 2-minute drill, just like how you work on it in practice. We had a 1:25, one timeout. And we were tied with them, so we were at least we were on our -20, and so we had to find a way to at least get in field goal range and win the game, and our guys just executed beautifully, and I didn't even have to call the timeout, actually, and we ended up scoring on a run play with 6 seconds left, and then we were able to kick it off, and start. They tried to do the lateral thing until we tackled them, but it was a pretty thrilling, emotional win for us, and a good way to get some momentum heading into region play this week.
And, of course, region play is what it's all about. That's what determines whether you get to play at the next level. And, Coach, tell us a little bit about your region and what you expect out of it.
Well, it's really tough. We'll open up at Archer this week, and Coach Williams has done a really good job. He took over the program last year, and they've made significant improvement in the last year. And then we are at home 3 consecutive weeks against Newton, and then Grayson, and then Parkview. And everybody knows that Grayson and Parkview are 2 of our biggest rivals, and the year in, year out, they're extremely tough. And even, you saw Grayson kind of put it on Lowndes last night, and Parkview has only lost 1, and they're in the top 10, and Newton as well this year. I think Newton's having an exceptional season this year, so they're going to be extremely tough. And then we finished the year at South Gwinnett, which is the Battle of Snellville, so that's the crosstown rival there to finish the year. And so we've got a young, scrappy team. We graduated. I think 18 starters last year, so we're battling through it this year. I'm extremely proud of this team and the way they're fighting, and I'm looking forward to seeing them continue that through this region play.
Coach, what's the health of your team at this point?
We're in good shape. We had a couple of linebackers out on Friday, but they look to be back this week, and other than that, we just have bumps and bruises. We have another really good linebacker he hurt his wrist really bad in camp, but it was one of those things he's just kind of casted up and playing through it. But other than that, we don't have anything bigger than just the normal, bumps and bruises and daily toll of practice and games. So we feel fortunate.
We're talking with Coach Phillip Jones, Brookwood winners Thursday night over South Forsyth, 42-35. Coach, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Enjoy your day with your son, and enjoy your soccer this afternoon in the great weather, and we'll talk to you again soon, Coach.
Yes, sir. Always great to be on with you, Bruce, and I hope you have a great day as well.
You too, Coach. Thanks. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network. Stay tuned.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Main streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. Its office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show, coming to you live from the Dave Venable Studios in downtown Hawkinsville. We're going to pause 10 seconds to allow our stations to identify themselves right here on the XL Sports Network. Well, let's get a few scores with Chuck Ferguson. Chuck, you got us some scores there.
Thanks, Bruce. Yes, start off with the Crawford County win last night over Twiggs County, 27-14. Great game. Eddie was telling us about it earlier. Crisp County and Northside, 20-16 winners were the Crisp County over the Eagles there. That must have been a really good one. Cedartown over Dalton, 35-27. Dade County, 22-20 winners over Darlington. It was Duluth, 63-7 over Discovery. Fitzgerald over Dodge County, 36-7. Eagles Landing Christian over Landmark Christian, 47-7. Early County over Mitchell County, 34-8. And Cedar Shoals, 10-7 over East Hall. I think we got a coach on the line. A couple more before we get in here. Elbert County over Jefferson County, 39-14. Emmanuel County ECI over Johnson County. We talked to the coach about that earlier, 15-7. ECI winners. And to the phones, Bruce.
Back to the phone lines we go. Now on the line with us, Decula head coach Reggie Stansel. Good morning, Coach.
How you doing?
Good, Coach. Glad to have you with us this morning.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Coach, first time on with us, we like to try to get some background information on you, where you grew up, went to high school, if you what sports you played, and a little bit about college, and then your coaching that brought you around to Decula.
Okay. Well, I'm from South Georgia. Played at Colquitt County High School. Played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. And then I went on to Jacksonville State and played football there. And what brought me to, Gwinnett County, my father was a coach, so I've always been into coaching. And, I've kind of moved around a little bit my first 3 years. Coached at Morrow High School, my first job out of college. Went down to Northside, Warner Robins, and coached with Coach Conrad Nix at Northside High School for a year. And then I came back to Atlanta and coached at Lafayette High School in DeKalb County for a year. And from there, I moved on to Norcross High School, and I was at Norcross High School for 11 years. Then I got the head football job at Peace Ridge, and I was there for 5 years. Left there and went and spent a semester over at McEachern High School, coached the quarterbacks there, and then I was fortunate enough to get the Decula head football job last spring.
Well, you've been around and you know a lot of guys and coached in a lot of places. Of course, when you were at Northside, you were just up the road from us. I'm in Hawkinsville. I've been doing the Hawkinsville broadcast since 1993, and the guy next to me to my left is actually a Warner Robins Demon.
Yeah, how about that? Hey, but I do have a lot of respect for Coach Conrad Nix. He's a great man, great Christian man, great leader of men. So I know you learned a lot from him.
Sure did.
And of course, coming up in a little while,
I was actually recruited by his son Patrick Nix to go to Jacksonville State.
How about that?
And of course, we'll be talking to in a little while Coach Keith Maloof of Norcross, which you obviously know that man as well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Surrounded by these guys. Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about Decula and what you found when you got there, and a little bit about how you're building the program.
It's a great place. It's one of those places that kind of remind me of South Georgia, in the sense of you have a little small town and you got a lot of people. I mean, we have supporters that have went to every high school football game, and that Decula's had. They come around and help feed our kids pregame meals, things like that. And they still travel to all the games, no matter where they are. Just really, really good people. That reminds me of South Georgia football in Gwinnett County. Gwinnett County is an unbelievable place to, coach and have players play football. And I'm excited about the opportunity I have here. This year we're really, really young. I mean, actually, I'm starting 3 offensive linemen. Throughout the year, I've started 3 freshmen on the offensive line. I think we have about 8 or 9 sophomores that are starting on offense or defense for us. So we're really, really young, but we do have a really good senior class with some really good leaders that, we all wish as coaches we had another year, just because, they would have an opportunity to be in our system for multiple years. But, we're struggling a little bit, and a lot of that is just because of our youth. And the other part is just, it's a new system on both sides of the ball. So, our kids are getting better and better each week, but it's one of those situations where, we're going to have growing pains. We feel like we should be 4-1, possibly 5-0, if you take away some of the mistakes. But again, that's part of the game, so you got to live with it, and then try to correct those things to get better. But as far as what we're doing, as a staff, our whole goal is to continue to help our kids understand that no matter what we're doing, we're going to do things the right way, and help them become, not just successful football players, but also great people in the community.
Well, Coach, when you look at y'all's schedule as a whole, I mean, your non-region schedule is pretty brutal, but when you get into region, it gets even worse. Wow. That's unbelievable.
You're right. I had nothing to do with that. You're exactly right, though. We played some really good teams so far. I mean, I think South Gwinnett, which is a team that we thought we had an opportunity to win that game. they just lost their first game to Norcross. So and Jones County's been really good, and they play really good football. I mean, so we've had a tough schedule, and I think that prepares us for our region. I mean, because we have a really tough region, but it also allows our kids to understand that if we are fortunate to get into the playoffs, we're ready for that kind of competition, because that's what you're going to see every week in the playoffs. So.
Coach, tell us, if you can, a little bit about your staff and how you were able to assemble it.
It was kind of a in and out situation. When you come into a school that's as good as Decula is as far as academically, and as far as a place that a lot of people love being around, it's hard to bring in a lot of coaches. So you go into the situation of, I'm going to keep some guys that are on the staff just because they like being teachers in the building. And then, kind of late through the hiring process, a lot of those guys, before I got the job, had opportunities to go coach at other places, and those came to fruition, later on. So.
Coach, you still there?
Meeting. So there was a few guys that I knew going into the job that I was going to keep, and there's a few guys that I knew I had to bring in. One of the guys who has been really, really good for us is Anthony Sesh. He's my defense coordinator. Played in the NFL, played at Tennessee. I mean, played in a lot of places that could help us, even with kids and just the knowledge of the game. And he's done a really good job on defense. Again, we're starting 7 guys that are sophomores, and so with that being said, it's tough at the varsity level, but he's doing a heck of a job with those guys. Another guy that I brought on was a former head coach at Discovery High School, Ephraim Hill, and it was one of those things where when me and him talked before I got the job, he told me, hey, if you get the job, I'll step down and come coach with you. And that was one of the best hires that I've ever had, because of his knowledge of being a head coach. And, again, he played in the NFL also. And he's my assistant head coach, and he coaches my receivers. And he played receiver in the NFL for a little bit. And so, just having good people on your staff. There's a couple guys on staff that were on a former staff that I knew or coached with. Steve Sims, he coaches my quarterbacks. Me and Steve were together at Norcross High School, won those 2 state championships. And then Craig Edwards is a pillar in the community. He knows a lot of people. He has a great relationship with a lot of the kids there. And so, having those guys that were on the prior staff also helps being on the staff. And then I've also hired some guys that played at Decula. Marcus Cox, so running back for Decula. He played running back for App State. I think he still has some records at App State. He's our running backs coach. And then Lawson Cook is one of our defensive coaches. He coaches secondary. He played. He's actually still playing some pro football in the spring time. So, he's still involved. And then Casey Cox, who's a former Decula High School kid also, that, came back to coach at his high school. So I got a really good staff. We're young. Some of our coaches are young, and a couple of years or 1 year coaching. And so, we got a good mix of older and young, but I also have, 3 head coaches on my staff. So having that, makes us, in a better situation than some staffs are, where you got, some people that you can bounce ideas off of and try to help the program overall be successful.
Well, Coach, it sounds like you got everything kind of lined up and everything headed in the right direction. We want to wish you a lot of luck in the weeks to come and continued success, and we hope that you'll take our call again.
Yes, sir, I will. I appreciate you guys and everything you do for high school football.
Anytime, Coach. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Decula head coach Reggie Stansel come out of Colquitt County down there. He was a Packer, and I tell you, he's laying a good foundation.
Oh yeah, no doubt. that's some great experience coming out of Colquitt County, without a doubt. You want to go through some scores, Bruce, or go through the scoreboard?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you got Fayette County won 25-12 over Riverdale. It's got Fellowship Christian over Lovett 30-24. Eastside and Flowery Branch went to overtime, and Eastside won that one 39-32 on the road. Monday's Mill 43-0 winners over Forest Park. Got Forsyth Central 28-12 winners over Sicklinger. Glen Academy over Brunswick 22-15. Grayson and Lowndes, we talked about that earlier. We'll talk maybe a little bit with John about that. 40-0. Grayson winners over the Lowndes County Vikings. Greater Atlanta Christian 57-14 winners over Northview. Got Kiwanis beat Greenbrier 20-12. Greenville over Marion County 24-21. We're familiar with Marion County.
Yeah, that one was sort of a pretty good surprise to me that Greenville was able to pull that one off. But sometimes when you have those emotional games like we had with them here, that overtime game, that sometimes can take a little bit out of you, get your feet back under you.
It'll probably be a long time before I forget that one, Bruce.
Yes.
If ever. Beechville winners 23-12 over Groves. It was Evans over Grovetown 27-6. North Murray over Haralson County 28-16. Hart County over Bullock Academy 34-9. Heard County winners 37-6 over Clarkston. It was Carrollton over Hillgrove 49-0. Perry over Howard 41-0. It was Douglas County 30-27 over Hughes. Lithia Springs 28-18 over Jackson Atlanta. Jackson County 35-17 over Appalachia. And Jasper County and Monticello 42-7. I have some family over there that teach at Jasper County. Let's see, Jefferson and Clark Central, we talked to them earlier, talked to Jefferson coach. 22-14 winners were Jefferson over Clark Central. Roswell over Johns Creek, 56-0. And let's see, you got East Jackson over Johnson Gainesville, 42-0. As was also the score, 42-0, Putnam County over Josie. Kell beat Centennial, 62-10. Kennesaw Mountain over South Cobb, 36-15. Gordon Lee, 21-20 winners over Lafayette. Good game there. Good game. That was overtime game. Another good game was Dunwoody, 16-15 over Lakeside DeKalb. Lamar County over Social Circle, 19-7. Great game. East Calwood and Lambert. Lambert came out the winners, 23-22 on that one. Lanier County, 35-14 over Habersham Central. Liberty County, 42-14 winners over Johnson Savannah. Got Lincoln County over Richmond Academy, 38-6. Let's see, a couple more. Loganville over Heritage Conyers, 48-40. Lake Oconee, 46-38 winners over Loganville Christian. Manchester over Chattahoochee, 46-0. We talked about this earlier, Bruce. McEachern, 28-7 winners over Valdosta, handing the Wildcats their first loss of the season.
Yeah, that was a matchup of two heavyweights, and McEachern got the better of them on this one.
Without a doubt. McNair, 31-6 winners over Columbia. We talked about the Metter win. Metter 20-14 over Irwin County. Miller County over Sneads High School in Florida. Border war there, 14-13. That looked like a good game. North Cobb beat Milton on the road, 42-27. It was FPD over Mount Paranah Christian, 42-0. It was Upson Lee over Mount Zion in Jonesboro, 54-0. Murray County over Model. I'm sorry, got that backwards. Model won over Murray County, 49-7. It was Noonan over South Paulding, 21-15. Norcross are winners over South Gwinnett, 27-20. North Cobb over North Cobb Christian over Washington, 28-0. North Gwinnett over Burkmore, 48-7. North Oconee over Chestatee, 56-0. Oglethorpe over Oglethorpe County over Riverdale Military, 57-0. Mill Creek over Parkview, 30-20. It was Peach County getting their first win of the season over Hardaway, 47-6. Congratulations, Coach Westbrook, on his first win of the season over there. Peachtree Ridge winners 34-12 over Meadow Creek. It was Harrison on the road at Pebblebrook, came out 42-17 winners. Prince Avenue Christian over Pensacola Christian in Florida, 56-20. Coach Vandergrift's got some good stuff going on up there. Pepperell over Chattanooga, 45-17. Lumpkin County over Pickens, 49-14. Callaway over Redan, 38-6. Coffee over Richmond Hill, 21-0. Bremen over Ridgeland, 21-14. Let's see on down. Jonesboro and Rockdale County, 44-0 winners were Jonesboro. Spencer over Rutland, 26-7. Sandy Creek over Jackson, 46-14. Calvary Day, 42-21 winners over Savannah Christian. Long County, we just talked to their coach. Savannah Day got them 17-14, a really good game over Long County. We talked about the Sly Macon County game, 34-7. Sly County was winners over Macon County. Screven County over Warren County, 28-0. Shaw beat Jordan, 42-6. Jordan has struggled, Bruce, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, they seem to continue to struggle year in and year out. Chuck, quick check of next week as it stands right now, working on our schedule for next week. Of course, we'll talk with Coach Tim Suttles of the Hawkinsville Red Devils as they will host Telfair County, and Coach Matt Burleson. We'll talk to those guys. Ashley Henderson of Jasper County. We look forward to talking to Coach Henderson again. Coach Frank Pridgeon up at Wesleyan. They've got Lumpkin on the road next week. John Millage, Coach J.T. Wall and company, they got the week off next week as they prepare for Stratford. Mary Purse's head coach Brian Nelson. They have Prince Avenue Christian Academy coming up next weekend. We'll talk with him. And we, as it stands right now, we also have Coach Biff Parsons, head coach at Rockmart. They'll take on Model. That's all scheduled for next week here on the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more live from Dave Venable Studios in downtown Hawkinsville on the XL Sports Network. Back after these messages. Stay tuned.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Main streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, We don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
Back to the phone lines we go. Line with us now, Coach Shane Queen of North Cobb. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, glad to have you with us this morning. It's a busy Saturday morning. I know you got a lot going on. Just want to talk to you a little bit about your game last night and what you got moving forward.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks, Coach. Glad to have you with us. Coach, again, let's talk a little bit about the win over Milton last night. Tell us a little bit how it came about.
Well, we started off with had a slow start, and Milton jumped on at 14-0 in the first quarter. We pounded back and tied it up, and they scored a field goal right before the half. It was 17-14. And in the second half, David Mume and the offensive line just kind of took over the game. He ended up with 325 yards and 4 touchdowns, and our defense got several stops to put the game away.
I tell you what, Coach, week in and week out with the guys that y'all play, I tell you, it's a fight to the end, and last night sounds like another one of those epic battles that y'all get tied up in up there. And Coach, tell us a little bit about your offense and you know what makes it click.
Well, it goes like our running back goes. David Mume's had 980 yards rushing the last 3 weeks in our 3 wins. He's had 10 touchdowns with those guys. He'd be the first to tell you those guys up front are doing a heck of a job opening holes for him. And Nick Grimm said our quarterback's playing very well. He had like 80 or 90 yards rushing last night. We had over 400 yards rushing, and we knew we had to pound the ball and move the chains and keep their potent offense off the field. And that was our game plan going in. In the second half, we stuck to it, and it ended up being the deciding factor in the game.
Coach, if we can, tell us a little bit about the health of your team right now. I mean, we're getting far enough in now, and with the schedule you guys have, there's probably a few bumps and bruises along the way.
Well, we are beat up a little bit. We're welcoming, we got an off week this week to get some guys back healthy, but we lost a couple guys last night during the game that'll be back. But it's the next man up mentality. Our coaching staff always has those guys prepared. The next guy's up, and they stepped in, and we were able to get a win because of it.
Coach, coming up next, Walton, what can you tell us?
Well, we've got, a tough game. They're ranked nationally. Some polls have them number 1 in the state. We're very familiar with them. We play them every year, and they've got a ton of talent. We've got utmost respect for Coach Bruner and his team and his program, and we know we got to go in and play a great game. We can't turn the ball over. We can't give up the big play. They live by the big play. Their quarterback, Jeremy Heklinski's one of the best in the state. He's committed to Wake Forest. They've got a running back, Makari Bodiford, committed to Memphis. Offensive tackle, Daniel Calhoun, committed to Georgia. They got 2 linebackers on the defense side of the ball, committed to North Carolina, South Carolina, some guys to Liberty, some smaller schools, but just a great program. And, they're going to be a great test for us like they always are. Luckily, we have them at home, and hopefully our guys will accept the challenge like they have the first 5 weeks.
Coach, difference that the weather has made from the change from the heat and humidity we had now, how's it affecting your team?
Well, we've got a lot of two-way players, so that's allowed us, to play those guys more reps. And obviously, when it starts cooling off, those guys are more rested and not dehydrated and that sort of thing. But our kids are taking care of their bodies, working out hard. We go 5 days a week in the weight room, and I thought that was one of the deciding factors in the game last night.
Well, Coach, we want to wish you a lot of luck moving forward. I know you got a busy schedule, and we don't want to hold you up any longer. We appreciate you spending time with us, and we want to get you on again in a couple of weeks if we can.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me. Go Warriors.
Go Warriors. Thanks, Coach. Have a great weekend. Wow, I tell you. he was one of the early guys that we got on. He's been with us a lot. Him and Coach Jones, Philip Jones, we talked to earlier. Those guys and Coach Maloof that's fixing to come up. Guys that's been a steady with us, and of course Alan Chadwick and others. But when you run the gamut with the guys that we get week in and week out, it's just unbelievable. We get coaches from all walks of life, and listen, we've had them from the biggest to the smallest schools.
Yeah, we went to Toccoa yesterday for some grandkids grandparents day, and on the way up there I was telling my wife about some of the guys that we interview. It's not just in this local area, it's all over the state, and really cool to be able to do that. And North Cobb, there's no shortage of talent up there in that area. Gwinnett County and DeKalb County, there's a lot of great coaches, a lot of great teams up there, and it's pretty cool to be able to talk to these guys.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it. It's a pleasure to have them.
Speaking of,
back to the phone lines we go. On line with us now Coach Keith Maloof from Norcross. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing, Bruce?
Coach, I'm just tickled to be here. I'm glad to have you on this morning. I tell you, you guys are. I don't know how you get everything done in a week that y'all have to get done.
Well, it's tough, but the kids work hard. They're doing good. They learn fast, and now we got a quick turnaround because we play on Thursday this week against Duluth. So we're going to have to turn around and get ready real quick.
Coach, I'm sure that the change in the weather is probably going to help out a little bit with that, ain't it?
Oh, gosh, yes. It's already been worthwhile this past couple of weeks, especially this week. The kids are a little bit more energized, especially the big boys. The skill guys are used to it, but the big boys are ready for the cooler weather.
I've kind of fit in that in a shorter version, of course, but I tell you, as you get older, the cooler weather is a lot more easy to handle than it is that old heat and humidity.
No doubt, not especially me too. Getting to the age I am, and these kids are, they're working hard, and I walk out, that heat jumps on me. I go, boy, why am I still doing this? But I love it. I love the kids. They're working hard, and got us in a position to do some damage, I hope.
Coach, last night, a big game with South Gwinnett.
Yep, it was a big game, and Brian, played for me at Tucker, so that shows you my age real quick. Coach Lamar over there. But no, Brian does a great job with South Gwinnett. He does a great job at Tucker. I'm just real proud of what he stands for and how he's impacting a community over there. But our guys were ready. We knew they were coming in 4-0, and we knew they would come in energized, and it was a really good high school football game last night. It's what you want out of a game. Obviously you end up on top. I would have liked to add one more score on them, but you get out of there and win games like that. That's what these kids are going to need down the road.
Coach, coming up next, you guys are on the road at Duluth. What can you tell us?
Well, Duluth they're hot too. They came off a big win last night of Discovery. Coach Cam Jones, he used to be on my staff and then went to Lakeside and then came back, and he's at Duluth and doing a good job with that program, getting it going again. And we're going to have to go in and again and take on a team that's got a lot of wins under its belt. Our guys have to be ready week in and week out. We started off with Marietta real good in Mercedes-Benz and got our nose bloodied a little bit with Mill Creek, but played real good at times. Had a chance to, get in the game in the fourth quarter, and that's all you can ask against a top, 1-3 team in the state. And then we came back and played Archer, got behind in the third, got behind at half by 3 scores. Really, it was 21-3. And we came out in the second half, and we were able to get it done, which I was real proud of our guys, because that's something that high school kids is hard for. You get down 3 scores to come back against a good Archer team, and we came on top 21. And then last week, Discovery did a real good job with them, and then just this past week with South Gwinnett. So I feel like our guys are, improving every week. We still got a lot of things to clean up as we move forward. but I feel like we've got a really good group all the way around with offense, defense, and special teams.
Coach, we talked to Coach Reggie Stansel a little bit earlier at Decula. Do you know anything about that young man?
Yes, I do. I know a lot about that young man. He came to be from DeKalb County, Lithonia, I believe, back in the day early on when Tyler, my son, was in high school, when we had Bryce Butler, Devontae Bolton, and a lot of really good receivers. And Reggie did an outstanding job with us. We won region titles, and under his belt, got 2 state championships with him, running the offense with Coach Sims, who's on his staff at Decula. And no, I just love Reggie. He's like one of my own, like my own son, and like Brian and all these guys that have been on, around me and on my coaching staff. I'm just extremely proud of him. They're a young team, real young team, I think, especially in the O-line, and I think they're going to get things going here pretty soon. Just got to have a little luck to go along with the kids playing hard. But I feel like, I've seen them on film a couple of times, and they're playing hard, and I think he'll get that program turned the corner.
Well, Coach, listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. It's amazing the job that you guys do week in and week out, and I know that the community appreciates it, and we appreciate you spending some time with us this morning.
Well, Bruce, I appreciate you and what you getting the word out about high school football. I feel like it's probably still one of the most purest things left around. If we can just keep it that way, I feel like it will help these young men. But social media gets us, so we got to be careful, and hopefully these kids can work through that and continue to work hard and do the things it really takes. It's not always about the star players. It's always about, especially in high school, to me, it's about those kids that are a part of the team, because they're the ones that don't really get all the recognition that the high-profile players get. Those guys, to me, are mean the most in my heart. It means a lot to the program. Obviously, you need great players, but you also need role players. And I just hope that the social media doesn't ruin it for all these role players that are doing a really good job in high school. And they only get a shot at it one time.
Coach Keith Maloof, Norcross, winners last night over South Gwinnett, 27-20. Coach, always a pleasure. Have a great weekend, and we'll be talking to you in the weeks to come.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
Anytime, Coach. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. We'll take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show on the XL Sports Network. Stay tuned.
Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish, or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. The Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Solo Food Mart is a great place for snacks, cold drinks, and great Hunt Brothers Pizza. Then there's gas with easy in and out on the corner of Dooley and Commerce Streets across from the post office. Solo Food Mart, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2584. Solo, your stop for Hunt Brothers Pizza, cold drinks, snacks, lottery, and friendly staff.
On Saturday, August 5th, Stephen Danielson watches his 12-year-old son David play goalkeeper for his soccer team. Ed Perry drinks with friends at a local bar. After the game, Stephen and David say goodbye to the team. After a few rounds, Ed Perry says goodbye to his friends. The Danielsons drive westbound on Route 2. Ed Perry sideswipes their car. The Danielsons spin across the undivided highway and collide head-on with a six-wheel truck. Stephen and David Danielson are killed. Ed Perry is uninjured. The preceding story actually took place in Concord, Massachusetts. Only the name of the drunk driver was changed. Next time your friend insists on driving drunk, do whatever it takes to stop him. Because if he kills innocent people, how will you live with yourself? Friends don't let friends drive drunk. An appeal to intervene from the Ad Council, the Department of Transportation, and this station.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. This Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Solo Food Mart is a great place for snacks, cold drinks, and great Hunt Brothers pizza. Then there's gas with easy in and out on the corner of Dooley and Commerce Streets across from the post office. Solo Food Mart, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2584. Solo, your stop for Hunt Brothers Pizza, cold drinks, snacks, lottery, and friendly staff.
On Saturday, August 5th, Stephen Danielson watches his 12-year-old son David play goalkeeper for his soccer team. Ed Perry drinks with friends at a local bar. After the game, Stephen and David say goodbye to the team. After a few rounds, Ed Perry says goodbye to his friends. The Danielsons drive westbound on Route 2. Ed Perry sideswipes their car. The Danielsons spin across the undivided highway and collide head-on with a six-wheel truck. Stephen and David Danielson are killed. Ed Perry is uninjured. The preceding story actually took place in Concord, Massachusetts. Only the name of the drunk driver was changed. Next time your friend insists on driving drunk, do whatever it takes to stop him. Because if he kills innocent people, how will you live with yourself? Friends don't let friends drive drunk. An appeal to intervene from the Ad Council, the Department of Transportation, and this station.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, we don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show, brought to you by the Steakhouse in Hawkinsville. We got on the phone with us John Nelson. Traveling with John today. John, how you doing?
John is not traveling.
John's not traveling. That's right. You told me that. But hey, I got to throw it on the air, man. Got to let the folks.
I know. That's the tag for the segment. No, I'm completely down with that.
Cool, man. Well, it's good to talk to you. In the last couple of weeks, we've had some scheduling issues and
well, it's just. I mean, it's business meetings on my end, and then and I apologize for that. That just you have to lock things in at certain times, and then when Atlanta United had their last home game, one of the other Meads has a pre-match tailgate before I have to go inside Mercedes-Benz, and since they slid the kickoff time to 5 o'clock, that meant that everything got pushed 2.5 hours. So I had to do our live remote at 11 o'clock. But today it's at 1 o'clock. But so I am here with you to talk stuff.
Man, that's great. Hey, listen, we were just honored to have you anytime we can get you. So it's great to have you today, John. Hey, let's jump right into it, man. So we're going to talk about your alma mater on the road to Clemson.
Why?
Because that's first on the list right now. So Florida State on the road to Clemson. Florida State on the road at 2-point favorites at Clemson. Which, if you would have said something, I don't know, 6 months ago, people probably thought you was crazy with that 2-point favorite there on the road. Over and under 55. How do you see this game, John?
I don't think they get to the total, first and foremost, and I think that Clemson takes it because traditionally, for those of us who pay attention to the juice boxes that we may have, that we may sit there and think about, possibly increasing our inventory of juice boxes with games.
Mm-hmm.
-3 basically means that in the eyes of the juice box purveyors, they believe it is a push.
Yeah, exactly.
So anything under that, they think it's going to be a close game. I think that, when we go to Chestnut Hill, meaning Florida State,
right,
it's either late in November when it's like 4,000 degrees below zero, or in this case last week, it was the red bandana game.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know about the red bandana game, it has to do with Wells Crowther, who was an athlete at BC who was lost to us in 9/11 in the towers, and he was instrumental in rescuing a lot of folks that day, going up and down stairs and getting folks to safety and that kind of stuff. And so Tom Rinaldi did a fantastic piece about Wells Crowther and how folks knew that it was Wells was because he would always wear a red bandana.
Yeah.
So that was why last week when people watched Florida State and BC, that's why the numbers might have looked a little different for BC, is because they were in the form of the Paisley red bandana that Wells wore when he was starting as an athlete, and he kept it as a part of his thing. Yeah, we were at 31-10. We were a 24.5-point favorite in Chestnut Hill with a hurricane on the red bandana game. Easiest play on the board to take BC.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I mean, BC closed the distance. They didn't get the win, but coming off of that, having to go to an early kick against Clemson in Death Valley, I'm like, nope, Clemson's got this one.
Well, I'll tell you, that game last week, Will and I were watching down on the back porch, and that was one of those where you feel the momentum switch, and in high school and college football, it is absolutely incredible, the feeling of momentum. And I felt that in that game. And it, like you said, they were up comfortably. They scored 28 points in the second, third quarter. But then, man, that fourth quarter when Boston College, scored, and then all of a sudden I think it was a botched onside kick, or a botched kick or something. And next thing you know, man, it's like, man, here we go. So for this game, you're going to pick. You say you're going to pick Clemson in this game today?
Yeah, I got Clemson straight up.
Okay. All right. The next one that you may or may not want to talk about: Auburn on the road, Texas A&M. Auburn is underdogs. 8
Auburn
points.
by a gazillion.
Auburn by a zillion. Okay, so you're going with the over 51.5 and Auburn.
Yes.
Awesome.
Regardless of what I may personally think, about the game in and of itself, my bottom line is, because of the coach of the home team, whoever he's playing, whenever that school comes up,
you're picking the other one.
It's always the other team by a gazillion. I want nothing to do with the quitter, and he's going to be leaving that campus with a $15 bazillion payday because his entire contract is guaranteed.
Right.
It's just whomever he's playing, the other team by a gazillion. It just happens to be the boss's alma mater at noon, and it's just no. I mean, honestly, away from that opinion, take the under. Both of these teams are struggling offensively. It's going to be a painful game, and it might set football back a decade.
Wow. So, we talk about that contract. There's two contracts out there in recent years that made me scratch my head. There's that one and the one at Michigan State. And one's going to have a big payout. The other one's going to have the payout, getting rid of them. And, man, I think these institutions need to be very careful when they start throwing hundreds of millions.
But that's not going to happen.
I know.
You're going to have boosters and schools sit there and look at a shiny object and go, ooh. We've got to have that for Christmas.
Exactly.
And they're going to pay, $14 gazillion to bring in the hot coach, and then the only thing missing is finger pistols,
Right.
You're always going to have the next big thing, and it's always going to be one of those kind of contracts, like we've seen with the Quitter, like we've seen with Mel Tucker, and just damn the torpedoes, we're going to do it. I mean, it's like SMU, changing conferences. Sure, we'll surrender most of our television revenue. That's just what they want to do, and you're going to have people that are going to do that.
All right, I'm going to say this right quick. Auburn is going to win the Iron Bowl this year. I've already said that. I said that back in the summertime, and I still stick by that.
Well, the boss will love you for that.
Right. Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about
Sports Network.
Thank you.
If you're near the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville, the smell of the fresh fried chicken may lead you right inside for the best meal you'll ever have. Stop and see Lewis Fowler and his staff at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville for the daily buffet and the daily specials. Come try the Thursday night buffet with shrimp and fish or the Super Sunday buffet after church. Plus, there's full service menu available. And let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, either in-house or on location. This Steakhouse Restaurant on the 341 bypass in Hawkinsville.
Main streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The college experience is changing in our community, and Central Georgia Technical College is your college for what's next. Dual enrollment and the Dual Achievement Program offer new paths out of high school to earn diplomas, certificates, and degrees. Club football, on-campus health clinics, and loft-style housing are taking off. It's a work, school, and life balance like never before. Affordable education, transferable courses, and career satisfaction. Warner Robins, Macon, Milledgeville, and more. Simply put, CGTC is your college for our community. Apply today. Visit www.centralgatech.edu.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Quarterback Show, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. We're on the phone with John Nelson. John, we're going to continue to get on the list of the games to look at today. Virginia Tech on the road at Marshall. Marshall's a 4.5-point favorite. Over and under is 41. How do you see this one turning out?
Not getting to 41, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And this gives me the chance to sit there and go, Marshall.
All right. The aforementioned SMU on the road to TCU, 6.5-point favorite. TCU is on at home. Over and under 63.
I like the total. I don't necessarily like the number. So if we did, let's go TCU, but to go under. How about that?
TCU and under. Okay. Georgia Southern and Ball State. Georgia Southern 6-point favorite, 61.5 the over and under.
Yeah, I think they'll clear both of those, but it just gives us a chance to sit there and have half the room go Ball and have the other room, half of the rest of the room go State.
Yeah. Okay, so you take Ball State in that one. All right. Here's a big one: Colorado and Oregon. We're going to figure out what Colorado's all about. I'm not sure they're going to be able to stop Oregon.
No, nah. I mean, I looked at this one, and the boss and I were actually talking about it. Full disclosure. The boss and I know 3 of the coaches on that staff of Colorado.
Okay.
And
Chuck Kelly's one of them, I'm sure.
Yes, that is true. That is accurate.
Great dude. I like him.
I went to school with one of them, and another is a former Georgia high school coach who is on that staff as an analyst.
Okay.
And 3-0, great start. I think a lot of folks were surprised by the TCU win. Maybe they would have thought they would have been 2-1. But you look at these two games with Oregon and USC coming up, and we'll have the same discussion next week. We will. That Oregon and USC are a different animal than the first three games that Colorado has on the board. This will bring Colorado back to the mean. And I think that by the time they're done this year, they'll be 7-5, 8-4. That will not, that should not be a surprise, and it's a fantastic turnaround that Dion has done.
Right.
Do not be surprised by the result. Travis Hunter's out for the next couple of weeks. They're going to have to figure out what else to do offensively, and it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. So I think the 21 gets cleared. And this weekend against USC, it will be interesting to see how Colorado responds to adversity. They'll be 3-2 after 5, which is still fantastic. Mm-hmm. But these next two, I know that a lot of the folks will sit there and talk about doubt and things like that. No. Everything's fine. It's a great turnaround, what they've started. They'll learn some things from these next two, and they'll go forward.
All right. So I'm going to skip these next two because I think they're I don't care bowls. So we're going to go right to the Alabama Ole Miss. Alabama's 6.5-point favorite at home. Jalen Milroe is going to be the starting quarterback. Over and under 55.5.
Alabama is going to kill Ole Miss.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Look, is it just me, or does Lane Kiffin look like he stepped out of a John Grisham novel now?
I heard Brandon Adams say this. That Lane is talking trash before the game because he won't be able to talk trash afterwards.
You front load all your speech. I get it.
Right. South Carolina hosting Mississippi State. South Carolina 6-point favorites. Over and under 47.
Yeah, I don't think Mississippi State is still trying to learn to be a different offense with folks that were recruited by Mike Leach. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the issue with all of this. I think that if South Carolina gets the win, I think that they'll get close to 47, and that puts a lot of the effort on to South Carolina to score those points. I don't think they get there.
Okay. I'm going to skip the one. I got added a couple from what I sent you the other day. UCLA on the road to Utah. Utah, 3.5-point favorites, over and under 52.5.
If it's 3.5, take it, because Cam Rising is supposedly starting, and so they're going to be very, very motivated. UCLA is going to have a long day. Take the over and Utah.
Cam Rising hopefully will be, mobility is his thing, so hopefully that knee will hold up for him. Wazoo hosting Oregon State, big
the rest of the Tupac playing each other.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the Pac-2. This is
get back here. You kids get back here inside this house immediately. That's the two of them to the rest of the Pac-12. Kids get back here.
Is this the sub-championship for the 2024 Pac-12, Pac-2?
I believe so.
Okay. How do you see this?
I think Oregon State gets it done. But this will be interesting because of all of the subplot that's attached to it.
Right. Okay, here's a Big Ten matchup. Penn State hosting Iowa. Penn State's 14-point favorites. If they score 14, I'm not sure that Iowa can match that. 38 over and under. If I'm picking the over and under, it's going to be the under on that one. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that would mean something along the lines of 21-17 if you're looking at 4 at 38. So 30-10, somewhere in there. If you're playing the over, I think that's probably more realistic. I think that Penn State takes it. Take the points, or go ahead and give the points to Iowa. I think they go over the 38. Most of that is Penn State's doing, though. Right. Brian Ferentz, watch to 425, continues to grip Middle America.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. All right, last one that we're going to talk about, and we can take some time on this one if you want. Notre Dame hosting Ohio State. Ohio State goes on the road as a 3-point favorite, over and under 55.5. Fascinating game. I can't wait to see it.
I don't think that Hartman has faced this kind of competition when he was at Wake. I think it will be an interesting. I think it will be interesting for him to see what it's like to face this kind of pressure. I think it's going to be a long day for him. I think Ohio State takes care of business.
I'll tell you, this one here is. How well is that Notre Dame offensive line? How well they're going to be able to play against that defensive line at Ohio State? Those battles are won in the trenches. And Notre Dame's offense looks really, really good the first few games against subpar opponents. service academy. To me, I'm sorry, you just don't get the bodies that you need to be able to compete at that level. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup right there to see who wins the battle of the trenches, especially on that side of the ball there with Notre Dame. That running attack they have is legitimate. So we'll see. I think Notre Dame is gonna win that game. Like I said, I think that Ohio State can't. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop that run. And I think Hartman.
I think that Ohio State clears the 3. I just think that Hartman, and there's probably a 4-point game late. Notre Dame's probably driving, and then Hartman makes a mistake, and then it goes to Ohio State.
Well, this is going to be one of those games that it may define his Heisman run as far as Sam Hartman goes. If he plays really good and makes little to no mistakes, he may elevate himself to on that Heisman watch list there. I don't know about the quarterback on the other side. We'll see. He's got some weapons out there to catch the ball, no doubt.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that's why they're going to put up a bit of a number today on Notre Dame. I think Ohio State is in control of this one. All
right. Well, John, man, it's been great talking to you. Got some more. Bruce, you got something you want to say, Bruce?
Who's the Rock playing this week?
John, this has been a crazy week. I haven't looked at anything. We had the week off, and I spent it trying to get caught up, trying to get a few shows ahead, and with everything that's going on, I just didn't have time. Extra story for the newspaper with the recap of the first half season and a preview of the second half. Then you've got I got 2 more quarterbacks in the can. Plus, I do a weekly workup up.
Do you have your quarterback in the can? Why, yes, I do. Well, you better let him out.
And of course, then I got the pregame show that I put together, and I try to keep it where I just kind of touch it up at the end. So busy week. I'm gonna tell you what, I had in the last week I've had 3 mornings I got up at 3 a.m. and one of them was last Friday night, and I got back into bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I sat here really while y'all were talking, and in about 3 minutes I almost passed out completely. Had to get to moving.
So I was that excited that you were about to nap out on me.
I was that tired. John, we appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Be well, my friends. XL Sports Network.
That'll do it for this week's edition of the Steakhouse Wrestling Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network. We'll talk to you next week.